Good thing you did this in the beginning, so I can edit that out.
It won't be very difficult. It won't
Not
be
at
very
all.
difficult at
You know
all.
what? I'm just gonna hit that intro. Well, we're just gonna start off with the intro because you ruined it already, Max. You ruined it already.
He was too slow.
Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing races.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 284 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Lefty the Great, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. In the middle now is my co-host, Max.
Why do you
Smart.
fucking provoke me to say something?
And then now who's moved up a rank in the podcast over Max is my other co-host, Cade Roach RC. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
I'm gonna need you both to act like gentlemen this podcast, all right? That's not gonna happen, is it?
Yes,
No.
It will happen to an extent. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for coming on. We're gonna have a little catch up on while I do that. Middle Max, before Middleman Max. That's your new nickname. But before we do that, I have to say some thank yous and some shout outs to some of the people that support us. A big thank you to all the NNRC patrons and YouTube members and the NNRC squad around the world. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. If you wish to support the podcast a little bit further via Patreon or YouTube members, links for that are in the written description of this podcast. You guys will get early release of this podcast. Also, a big shout out to these companies that support us. We have in the written description, we have links. Affiliate links, coupon codes where you can save some money, and just links to these companies. If we don't have a coupon code or anything like that, just say, hey, I heard about them on the No Name RC podcast. They are Invisible Speed, Hitec RC, Corsatec USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Stacked RC, Racecraft USA, RC Box Club, Carl RC, Elite RC Productions, the Florida RC Championships, RC Body Armor, SJ Racing Builds, House of RC, RC GP. Shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalk, Robert Bettier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, who isn't really a driver anymore, but I don't know. He drives sometimes. Pekko Evening, Yuna Hattinen, and the Iceman, Mason Fuller. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you all for the support out there around the world. We greatly appreciate it. And go over and show us, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. Before I go on and get a catch up with Cade and Max, I'd like to say happy birthday. My buddy Tony Scarcella celebrated his birthday, I think, a week ago. I'm not sure. I am probably missed out on some birthdays. Yusef over in the UK, his birthday as well. I do apologize if we don't have the birthdays up. There's so many birthdays now, I'm losing track of them. So I do apologize for not saying happy birthday. If you had a happy birthday, I hope you guys have a birthday. Have a happy one. And I hope it's filled with lots of RC joy and excitement. Also, a big shout out to some friends of our show, the Dirty Acid Engine Services. That's right. Are you in need of an expert RC engine service to get your engine back on the track? Look no further than Dirty Acid Engine Services. Our team specializes in servicing RC engines like bearing replacements, polishing, cleaning break-ins, and replacing piston sleeve and rods. ensuring peak performance for your races. You can find them on Facebook at Dirty Assets Engine Services and get updated with their latest services and promotions. Whether you're across the country or trackside in need of services, we've got you covered. So check out my good friends at Dirty Asset Engine Service. And a big shout out to my boy Lorenzo Davis and his Tata batteries. I see he's gotten orders going out. If you're looking for some race batteries, hit up Lorenzo Davis. Check out Tata batteries. I think he has a Facebook page for it. I'm not sure, but check him out. Also, we're trying to help out some people. This week we did have the Italian Nationals. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on. But I believe it was held at the I'm sure it's Marco Barufalo's family track. And apparently thieves broke in and stole everything. I heard almost 17 to 20,000 euros worth of stuff. They stole all this stuff out of like the canteen. They stole everything there. They did make some money off the race, but not enough. They have a GoFund, which we will put the link in the written description of this podcast to help out the Barufalo family and help get them back on their feet as well, which we will bring up some of the Italian Nats coverage. It was pretty good, and who won that. And yeah, that's what's going on with us real quick. Moving on, we're going to get into our Invisible Speed catch-up. This is brought to you by Invisible Speed. Make your speed visible. The book is now available via invisiblespeed.net, or you can check out Lutz RC or Beach RC for the book. But don't forget, the course is also on sale for a 3-month special of $59.99.
Stop scrolling. You want to be Lewis Hamilton? Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No. You probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling. If you want to hear more from Jake, you can check out episode number 283 and the epic rant that him and I had at the end of that podcast, which is going on as one of the best we've ever had. So good stuff. All right, Maxie and Kate, welcome back to the podcast. It's been about a month since we was last on her. You know, Max, the pisser off of nations, is back. You've been at the track, haven't you, Max?
I was at the track yesterday. I had like one of the longest days of my life. I left home at 7:30 because I had to drive all the way down to like the metropolitan area of Helsinki, kind of like that area for work. And then I had to drive to Tampere, which is like 2 hours from there. And I was like, well, I mean, there's a track there. We're really close by. And every other track was like closed. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go there. And I was home at 2:20 at night. So I had a day from 7:30 to 2:20. A long day. And then I woke up at 6 today to go to work again.
Oh, wow. So why was you down there for work? Did they send you down for some training or something like that?
No, we was doing some internal measurements of like the smell. Up? Yeah, because we do the composting, and there's like obviously there's smell.
Don't make fun of it.
I mean, he called it shit work, literally. I'm not making fun of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like shit, but yeah, there's like smell that comes out of it, but we have these biofilters, so we measure that how well the filters work, because we don't obviously want to produce shit stank to the world, you know.
All right.
So I was doing that, and then I was like driving through the rest of the day. That track was really cool. I made a Facebook.
Which track was it?
It was in Tampere, in Nokia. It's kind of like I haven't gone there in a long time. I think the last time I raced there was 10 years ago almost.
What type of track is it?
It's been a while. It's dirt. It's like really fine dirt.
Like
not
silt?
that big. It's kind of like silt. Yeah, it's not that big, but it's like made on top of what you call it, like these boulders, like it's all stone underneath, and then they put like dirt on top. There's lots of elevation, and then there's like, it's a very, very unique track, I'd say. And then it's like in the middle of a forest, and the sun like comes from behind the forest, so it's like really cool visual. But yeah, it's been a while since I was there, so I'm really cool. It was really cool to go back. And yeah, gonna have my first national of the year this weekend too. So
I heard
good preparation for that.
I heard JQ was all upset that you put the first national in like the Euros warm up or something.
No, okay. I hope that we hadn't had to talk about this, but this is the silly part about this. So we made the Finnish national calendar based off of the EFRA calendar. Okay. So EFRA calendar, no warm up, no official warm up for the Euros. Well, okay, this weekend is free. Apparently, they have decided at, Chile, obviously they don't give a shit about Finnish nationals, which they shouldn't, but they had decided that this weekend will be the unofficial Euro warm-up, which apparently everyone's now going to. So, like, we had no idea. I don't know when this Euro warm-up was announced, maybe like a few months ago, but like, how could you know? And then it's unofficial. So it's not in any official calendar. So yeah, I'm a bit pissed altogether at all these warm-ups. I think it's silly. I've talked about this before, but this Euro warm-up I think was the most silly thing. And I'm not blaming anyone from the Chile. I'm kind of blaming the way we do things, and especially this is an issue everywhere, but this is a very European issue, I think.
You have a warm-up for your warm-up?
Yeah, we have that too. Don't even get me started, because I kind of want to save this warm-up thing for the end. But yeah, Pekka was complaining, but I was like, well, why do you even go? Like, warm-ups are pointless anyway.
This is true.
All right. Okay, Cade, just dropped your first collaboration with RC Racing TV, History of Schumacher. It was really good. Tell us what you've been up to and how's that going?
Well, the collaboration with RC Racing TV is going pretty good. I'm already in works with another video for my backlog for the Kyosho video. I'm also going to be working on a redo to the Team Associated video with them because A, that was a long time ago and the video isn't very good. And B, it had a lot of inaccuracies in it, specifically when it came to Brian Kinwald and him not. I didn't say he won like in 1997, I think it was, like somewhere in the 90s. But yeah, there was a lot of inaccuracies in that video, so I'm going to be redoing it. As for racing, I haven't really raced much since North Georgia Shootout, mostly because it's been raining every single weekend down here in Georgia. But I'm probably going to try. You've convinced me to try and like go to the Beachline Florida Championship race if I can. But we'll just have to see. I already have the cars ready for it. It's just a question of time and funds. You are muted.
All right, cool. So I'm still in Florida. Last week was supposed to be the FRCC Florida RC Championships round in Tallahassee, but that got rained out. So I did race the previous weekend at the Grand Open of the SORC Raceway, which was pretty nice. If you guys want to check out a video of that, I did one with Danny and Elite RC Productions. YouTube, we did a walkabout, massive hobbyton that used to be a former bed and bath shop. There's bed and bath shops.
It was a bed and body works, I think it was called.
Yeah, whatever. There's
Bath
big chain. Works. Yeah, them big chain it's huge. They had their first race there. It was a dirt glue track. Mr. Steve let me race his 13.5 two-wheel drive truck. I had a blast. It was fun to be down there and hang out. This past weekend, I went to Newberry, which is about 45 minutes to an hour from here, roughly about 50 minutes from south of where I am in Lake City at Lance's. I went down there Friday night just to watch some club racing. And then the Saturday I went to New Reds RC, which is an indoor track. You'll see
in Ocala, Florida. Yeah.
You know, is Ocala. I say Ocala. I think it's Ocala.
I don't know.
I think it's Ocala. But it's down there. I went down there. It was Saturday afternoon. I went there. Didn't have much of a turnout, but I've never been there before. It's a little small place. It's a little hobby shop. It's jam packed full of stuff too. But I did get to do your buddy Hall. What up? Shout out to Buddy Hall. He let me. We was talking, and he's like, "Hey man, if you want to try out my Dart Oval car, which was I think like late model Slash or something like that, it was the most versatile, probably the most versatile chassis in the world. This Slash, and it was fun. I was just teasing Ryan Styles Harris about this the week before at SO Raceway about why is he. Yeah, he's like, but you got to try it. When you try it, you'll see what it is. And I'm not gonna lie, I did the battery pack or half a battery pack on that Traxxas, and I'm hooked. I like it. It was fun. Then I actually tried. It's fun. It's fun. It is fun. It is fun. And I didn't even race with nobody. I was just taking some laps. Then I tried this guy Kermit's sprint car. It used to belong to Mr. Sherman, Tom Sherman. He was there as well. Now those were a handful to drive. They're fast, and they are like the way they're set up. You know, they're set up to go left. So
and only left.
Yeah. So it was, but I had about 10 laps on that, and it was a pretty decent day. I came home. I did some toy hunting, which is my hobby while I'm out here going around and looking at stuff. If I see something and it's affordable, I'll buy it. Didn't buy anything in the Ocala area. Then I came back up to Lake City here and just kind of chilled over the weekend. It's been a chilled week. I am going down to the ARRMAGeddon, which is being held at Cletus McFarlane's Freedom Factory. So if you guys don't know, Max, I don't know if you know who Cletus McFarlane is, but it's like a YouTube sensation.
Oh, we watched it every night when I was at Mike Hill's. Shout out to Mike.
You did? You watched Cletus McFarlane?
Oh, we watched
the most American car YouTuber you can possibly get. Right.
Well, he's teamed up with Horizon, so they're having a big ARRMA or only ARRMA bashing event on there, and like even Mark Santamaria is going on there. So go into it. So I was just going to go down for the Friday, but I decided to just stay. I'm going on there for the whole thing. So Thursday, Friday, and I'll go Saturday and come back here on. It's like a 4-hour drive from here. So that's going to be. I'm really interested in that. You know, guys, I like all types of RC, and I've been wanting to get into some bashing stuff for quite some time. I wish I was able to participate. I wish you have to have an ARRMA vehicle to participate. So I don't have one. And honestly, I'm on a RC budget. I can't afford a nice Creighton 6S that I really would like.
Like $1,000.
I know. I'd even take something like the Notorious or something like that. So
I grabbed myself Infraction or something like that.
Well, there's a OnRoad. So
those are OnRoad, but I still like them because
they're cool, very cool. But I want something. You know, I really want to get into the bashing world and YouTube and all that stuff. Something in order to grab some content, hang out, meet, just see a different side of RC. And I'm looking. It was. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I will say this: I took some time. Lance was at the SO Raceway. He for the first time I RD'd a race. Couple heats.
Race directed a race.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not a whole race, but a couple of races in a race, couple of heats in a race.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty good till I got to 4x4 short course, and then it was just like, fuck. I was just like, okay, just call out lap times because that was hectic. And it must be 4x4 short course on a small track like that. It's hectic, but it was fun. Might do a little bit more to help out in between runs, sir. I'm a commentator, not a RD, so it's a difference. And yeah. That's about it, man. And then I go to Beachline next weekend, and I am gonna race there. And then I go home next Sunday, and yeah, I go home for like 5 weeks, and I come back for RC Pro-Am, and then we could weekend.
That's in RC Pro-Am. Is it also in June or July?
It's in July.
July.
It's the July 12th to 14th. There's like a ton of races that same weekend all over America. So I do that. And then looking forward to Wiki Weekend. And then after that, my next trip will be Spain, which Max and I are going to when he books his ticket. So
In
hurry up and
September?
book your ticket. Yeah, my
promise
ticket's
to book
booked
it this week.
Well, you need to because the man who's asking me about it, so get it done. We're going to Spain. I'm going for 10 days, so I'm going from I leave on a Friday, get there Saturday. It starts Sunday, right on through, and I'm staying till Monday and come home. And then I think that's going to start a busy time because it's going to be like Peach State Classic. Like the end of the year is going to be pretty busy for me.
Yeah.
So, all good. All right. So we have a few things I wanted to chat about before we get into some of the RC stuff. Did you guys see that meteorite that flew over Portugal? You haven't seen it?
No, I have
not
like
seen
no
it.
idea about this. Like this
What?
is your stuff.
Dude, so I saw this on TikTok, right? And it was multiple videos, like not the little, you see those little shooting stars. No, this was like some big blue bright light, which I think is an alien ship, by the way.
You think like Darth Vader would be on that?
No, I think no. I wish there was such a thing as
More like Darth Maul or something like that.
Well, so I messaged Joao Figueiredo and I was like, dude, did you see that meteorite? He goes, yes. And he said it landed over by Guarda somewhere. Yes, dude. Go check. Well, I'm not bullshitting you. Like, it's multiple videos of this thing. It happened this weekend.
Well,
I mean, I believe you. I might have just
time to
missed it.
YouTube.
There you go. See, so I personally think I haven't heard nothing else about it since then. So I definitely am very sure that it's an alien ship that lost control.
Didn't like some
Yes.
US like officials confirmed that there are aliens already. So I think, or at least something that they can't explain. That was
there's more and more stuff coming out. There's more and more signs, like sightings and stuff like that. So I am highly convinced that this, like, the government's getting to the point of, oh Lord, look, we're gonna get shut down. I can feel it already. This podcast is gonna get shut down.
Oh, hey, Keenan,
we're talking about aliens.
I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, you have it?
I
Let me
found
bring it up. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is black and white though, Kate. Oh, is it? Dude, they have better pictures. Look. Like, yeah. You tell me.
Home surveillance cameras in Europe camera over the city of Cáceres, Spain.
We're going to get copyrighted, so I'm going to stop that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tried to find my aluminum foil, but I don't know where I put it.
Max, just look at this thing.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That looks like the meteor that
alien
hit
ship
Russia
crashing.
a couple years ago.
Probably
this
some
happened.
guy's drone.
No. No. This is not
Okay.
drone. Okay, at the worst, it's to be realistic, it's probably a meteorite, but to be realistic, it's probably an alien ship too.
Yeah. Okay.
All I'm going to say on that front is I do believe aliens exist. But that probably
Keenan?
wasn't one of them.
We're gonna do a show where we're gonna go look for the Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster next. Okay.
I don't know about Loch Ness, but definitely Bigfoot. He lives in Montana.
I know.
But
He lives
it
in
was
Idaho.
Well, he could be. You know.
Oh, dude, it might be at HRCR. You know, that's in Idaho.
That's
That
right.
is true, yeah.
That is true. You know who's from Montana? The Bartletts. So they might have seen him too. Dude, all I'm gonna say is that was a pretty big meteorite, and it's going quiet. So, you know, it's not like we haven't seen any. This is the landing of it, and this is that. You know, so something might be up.
It landed on an RC track, and someone just thought it was a big rut. You know,
I thought it was a big feature.
Yeah, it was a new feature on the track.
It was a new feature at Psycho Nitro Blast.
Ye of little faith. Ye of little faith. Ye of little faith. Speaking of races and races that are coming up, we have a big payout race in South Dakota. It's the Slideways Midwest Nationals up in South Dakota. Here's their promo. Check it out. If you guys want to check out a race, go win some money, head up to South Dakota, up to the Aberdeen Fairgrounds, and do some racing and win some moolah. That's right, everybody. The Dakota Slideways, the Midwest National, July 13th and 14th. If you would like to get more information about that, find them on Facebook at Dakota Slideways. All right, so this past, I think about, go ahead, Max.
What was that about? We wasn't even the official podcast of the National.
That's my good buddy Joe Zaire Jr. ran out of talent.
Why
because he's from that area, up in that area.
Okay,
he's a good friend of mine. If it wasn't for Joe Zaire Jr., we probably wouldn't have started this podcast because he's the one who helped me out quite a lot when I first started.
Okay, well, I'll accept it, but
I'm sure you will.
I think, seeing that we're playing this ad on our show and it says the official podcast, it's like, you're hanging out with a girl and then she's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's so hot, and then it's not you what she's talking about,
That is definitely. I could go out RC racing today.
Keenan, we just got cocked live,
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
very good. Look at Kate just shaking his head. So a couple of weeks
act like gentlemen.
Max has got to one up everything. JQ wasn't hers, got to one up JQ. A couple of weeks ago, I brought back the Whip It Wednesdays. We did a May version, and we had a lot of submissions from people. But this one in particular, I think we had submissions. I think the honorable mentions was Ben Sterling sent me one, which was pretty good. Jerry Kleinbell, Aiden Ridgway, and Logan Toa from New Zealand. So those guys got honorable mention. There was lots of good videos. I think in the future when we do this, it's going to have to be a video clip. Please don't send me like a Facebook link or anything. It's going to have to be an actual video clip because we are going to play them. But I thought this whip was pretty exceptional. And for the vehicle that it is, I thought it was even better. So the winner of May's Whip It Wednesday goes to Ryan Cottle in this epic short course, two-wheel drive short course whip. And it looks like he did it at the World of RC Raceway up there in Lucama, North Carolina, because I know that's where he races. Video was taken by Josh Parrish, and I was told he was risked his life for this. I chose this at the winner. I want to get you guys ranking after this. We're going to show it right now. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, go over to our socials. I did post it up, or come check it out on the NNRC YouTube. But here's Ryan Cottle's whip, and give it a ranking after this. All right, Max and Cade, because I won this. I gave him the win. Here we go. Do you want to see it again? I have to give that whip at least an 8.5 out of 10. For a short course truck, he almost got it fully inverted and pulled it back across. I thought it was pretty epic.
For a two-wheel drive short course truck, I'd say I'd give that a 9.
Very good. So you have an 8.5 from me, a 9 from him, and I'm sure Max has his critiques.
Okay, I have my critiques. I do have to say, short course trucks are actually not that bad to whip. I used to race short course trucks.
They're so awesome to race, by the way, too.
Yeah, I loved short course truck. Two-wheel drive. The four-wheel drive, not a big fan, but I did enjoy two-wheel drive. So not that hard to whip, but it's hard to make it look cool, like that. That being said, I do think, whipping is kind of like ski jumping, because they always land. It's called a telemark. It's like one of your feet is forwards than the other. So your feet land kind of like behind it. It's called a telemark. With whipping, it's kind of the same. If you land just like flat, it's kind of like, you get deducted points. You have to land smooth and straight to the angle you're supposed to go with. So that deducts a few points. So I think, the whip itself was great. So it's still like an 8. But the landing, it was cut quite nicely, so you couldn't really see that if the car just completely stopped. But I've been in this game for a while, so I can see when there's been some favorable editing, favorable video cutting, and it's good but the landing, it leaves me a little bit, wanting more. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
You are muted once again.
Keenan's giving his.
The landing was not functional, so I could see that, but I did not say okay. I just said they had to stick the landing, but as a functional whip, that was not functional. But as aesthetically looking, it was an aesthetic whip, right?
It was aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly. Landing as an aesthetically pleasing whip, but non-functional because the landing did. The point of the whip is to bring it back around and carry on with that speed or scrubbing speed. But aesthetically wise, perfect.
Actually, could you bring it up one more time?
Absolutely. We can do it one more time. If you guys want to see it, just go to minute 32:49. Oh, hold on. Minute 32:55.
You know, Max, you could say that's more functional because he landed sideways in conjunction with the track to set up for that hairpin.
Max, we might have to. Let's have another look. He did scrub a lot of speed. He scrubbed a lot of
speed, but he is lined up for the hairpin.
This is true.
I don't think if we're evaluating the whip aesthetically, I don't think it needs to be the speed doesn't matter. Even if it's so much slower, it doesn't really matter. The issue I have with the landing is that you can hear the car smack.
But you're gonna hear that with a short course, Max. It's a short course body.
No, but the way it lands is he lands on the rear tire. It sticks the car.
All right, we've spent entirely too much
It's not
time
like a smooth landing.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
You still give it an 8.
You still give it an 8.
The thing is that critique is good because you can improve on yourself. But it was still a good whip.
Well, I want to say congratulations to you, Ryan Cotto. You win May's Whip It Wednesday. We thank everybody who submitted. We're going to do one in June, and it's going to have to be videos. You're going to have to submit videos, and we'll pick one.
What does he win?
I'm going to send him some stickers, but I'll send some if some people that he knows. Oh, I've probably given him enough stickers too. Maybe as time goes on and this gets a little bit better, maybe we'll get some better prizes for people.
I think now would be a good time to give some of those acquired Christmas gifts to the whip.
Dude, I don't have them. I don't even remember them. I was thinking about that today because I was on the way to the post office to post off some NNRC hats and shirts that are for sale. By the way, here's an NNRC new hat, flex fit, extra large and small. If you guys want it, just NNRC in front. And we have white and black shirts in stock. If you wish to get one while I'm here in America, let me know so I can ship it out. Just shoot me a message. But yeah, the Christmas gifts are going. I wouldn't even go to those companies right now. It's almost June. It's almost June now. We're almost halfway through the year. People didn't complain their gifts. They just didn't get them.
You could do Christmas in July.
No.
No, we have to organize this because whipping. We have to have an official whip panel and a good price. People have to start taking this seriously.
You know what, Max? We're putting you in charge of that. You come up with the idea. We just pile it all on Max, just like the notes, which are very good, by the way, which are very good.
I added 2 notes.
I know. Max was like, we'll just wing it. I was like, no, I like your notes, Max. Keep them up, and they're all nice and organized. All right. Well, congratulations, Ryan. Thank you for everybody for sending us some videos. It's great to see, and we love it. Whips are fun, right? You know who's a really good whip driver? JQ actually can throw really good fat whips.
Yeah, he's good with whips. JQ he has really good car control. He's really good.
You know who's not good at whips, who does it and it looks great? Me, but I don't do it on purpose.
I am in that boat too. Don't worry about it.
All right. Up next is our Hitec news. We want to thank Hitec for all their continued support. Just so that all the Hitec crew were at the Joe Knoll Fly-In Festival, the biggest fly-in event, I think, in the world. It looks absolutely great. I want to go one day. I see they're coming up with their new service. They just came up with some new swag, new hats, new shirts, and all that stuff. So go check out Hitec for all your charging and servo needs. We thank them for all their support. I have my charger. Max has chargers. Kate doesn't have any. But we support Hitec. They support us. And they've been into racing for quite a long time. So thank you, Hitec RCD, for all your time, all your support. If you wish to purchase something from them, there's some links in the written description for that. All right, Max, you didn't put no link here, but I saw that RC10 has re-released the team-associated Truggy, the RC10T. The original, sorry, not Truggy, Truck, the original one.
Yes, they did, and let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, and this is the one with the thin wheels, right? Thin front wheels.
So.
Dude, I remember when this came out, I was like, I want this so bad. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted it so bad.
I don't think I was alive when this came out.
Max, you has team associated refrain from actually releasing anything for the first time. What is that all about?
Well, because they've been like re-releasing everything all the time. Like I can't even. They released P7, but since P7, they've been just re-releasing all kinds of things. It's kind of like Kyosho at this point, or Tamiya. They just re-release like 80s models, and like.
I mean, that's where the money is.
Yeah, but I think it's a weird.
As much as I don't like it, that's where the money is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean it's collectibles, basically. So it makes sense, but yeah, I think it was funny because Kate commented on that first, and I said in the notes this is a reoccurring theme. Yeah.
Well, people want to get these old cars. Like I never was able to get this when I was younger. I would mind having one on my shelf now, and people race them.
That's the thing, though. It's for a lot of people. It's only on the shelf, though.
Does it matter? Does it matter? It's selling.
It shouldn't matter. It should matter, but it doesn't.
I mean, the whole key of this is sales, right? Without sales and money, you can't have the racing program.
I know.
So why not release something that you don't have to make new molds for and all that type of stuff? Of course,
I'm surprised they still have the molds.
Why wouldn't they? This is legacy. Like people always want legacy. Right, here you go. You have a legacy right here.
I know, but like when I
don't think these are the same molds.
Also, you can.
Well, they wouldn't make new molds just to bring this out.
They could.
That would not be financially.
Unless they sold a lot.
Yeah, they would. I don't think these are gonna sell like 100,000 units, right?
Also, I have the screen.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Let's bring it up. It's kind of
Yep, skinny wheels.
Oh yeah, I just remember this iconic paint job with that cowl on the front, and I think this might have been Pavitas' paint job, if I'm not mistaken.
His paint job looked like that.
This is Pavitas, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I think so. But man, I always wanted this truck when I was growing up. I used to drool over it in the magazines. I would buy this. No, who am I joking? I can't afford to buy that. I work in RC, but I would like to. I would like to be able to buy it one day.
Looks like they set it up for. Looks like the same sort of setup that they had in the RC10 re-release with the lipo setup as well.
Being as I'm old enough to be you guys' father, I thought about that today too, because both of you are only 24. That would have made me 22. A father 22 if either of you were born to me. This type of stuff, really, people like me are going to buy this. People who just probably had one back in the day and they sold it or they wrecked it. I guarantee you back in the day, Associated sold a bunch of these trucks because they were like one of the first production, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first real production racing trucks to come out. So
I believe,
that and the JRX2.
No, the JRX2T was the first one. This was the second one.
But Associated.
But this is Associated's first. Yes.
Max has no interest in this whatsoever.
No, I'm not really a guy for collectibles.
Yeah. All right. So that's why you're being silent. I like it. I want one with that same paint job and everything. Same stickers, everything.
I want one to run it.
You could run it too. You can run it too. All right. Losi releases new RTR Ebuggy, not an ARRMAGeddon. What's this about, Max? Or did you write this?
This is me. This is me again. They released a. Hang on, let me share the other screen. One moment.
Max is like, I am not into all this stuff.
They released
actually the Losi one. I was more interested.
Okay.
They released an RTR 8, like not an actual like ARRMA like the old Durango one, like an actual TLR buggy. Are you
Ebuggy?
Yeah. And like an actual Ebuggy, and it comes with tires. It comes with all that stuff. The only thing it doesn't come with, it comes with censored. Well, the thing that got me is it comes with censored electronics, and that's for me at least, is a bigger step up than compared to the ARRMA TLR tuned Typhon. So it comes with all that stuff, and it just needs a 4S battery and some body paint, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think because it's if you look when I looked at this car, it is basically the same as the kit version of this car. I don't know exactly if there's some like difference.
Did they put like cheaper tie rods, plastic tie rods, anything?
No, those are metal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, okay. I mean there might be like less machining on some parts, and they
like
might
stamped
have
aluminum,
like stamped aluminum or something like that instead. But like if you're just starting out, this is
I think that's pretty good. I think the Typhon is pretty good too. I've seen quite a few of them go.
Too. The Typhon's pretty good too, but I think this is better.
Okay.
Oh, I think the Typhon is good because the car is actually quite good, but like these electronics are better. Like they are made. The only thing that is kind of like sucky is the radio. But like nobody ever uses an RTR radio long term anyway, so it's not like a biggie. And the servo, I think it's like aluminum case.
Is that an aluminum servo horn?
Yeah, so it's
with the 25 tooth.
It's 25 tooth.
Yeah, that's
says
what
25. It says 25 on there right there.
Isn't that what normal splines are nowadays?
No, because
Spectrums are 23.
Yeah.
Oh. Right,
or usually 20, or usually 23, but it says Spectrum right there.
Maybe they've joined the rest of the world and
hopefully
doing all 25.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, I wish more manufacturers did this because, especially for Ebuggy, most people they just run the electronics. They have no idea how to tune them, and like they run them as they is anyway. Most people are going to be happy with.
Hey, this looks decent.
Car. No, it's like a full-on race car. You know, you remember we had those JQ kits that were pre-built, and it was. I think it was even cheaper than the kit car because it was like, even though it was built, it was cheaper because you could save on the
okay, this type of stuff is like the cheap aluminum stuff, but it's not that bad. What's the price on it? I can't tell.
It's same.
$630.
I think it's exactly the same, everything, except maybe they have less machining, but they have just not anodized stuff, you know?
Well,
probably, yeah.
I think Ebuggy is like the way to get people into racing. And I think that this is great. Like this is a step up from a regular RTR. It's kind of like SWorks has a really good one as well.
The Apollo,
I know as soon as we say, well, SWorks has one too, but I think all the companies should try and have something like this because this is like a step up from RTR in my opinion. So good stuff.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this with Joseph like a while back. Because like when you go and buy a motocross bike, I mean you buy a Kawasaki and that's it. You just buy a bike and that's it. But with RC cars, you kind of always have to build it, pick your components. It's like, and for a beginner,
there's a lot of barriers.
They always fuck something up. They screw something up like very easily. And seeing firsthand the pre-built JQ kits, dude, those were money. Like you could take one out, put a motor in and electronics in, and that was good. Like people kind of I'd rather have like the general RC hobbyist buy a pre-built kit than for them to build it because so many people build their cars so wrong. So I don't know. I think we ought to move in this direction in the future. But I mean, a lot of people, the tinkering is what they love. So then for those people, obviously, they don't give a shit about these type of stuff. But I think for, general hobbyists, this would actually be much better.
And it seems like the only thing that gets me with this is that they didn't really advertise it very much. At least not as much as they did the ARRMA TLR Tune Typhon.
Yeah, they had like a video, like a 2-minute video where there was like two guys running this at a track.
Yeah.
I saw that, but I mean, they haven't because if I was them, I would be doing like a big marketing thing. And to be honest, I feel it's a bit weird that they market it as Losi, because they haven't released anything under Losi apart from the Bajas.
Is this marketed on a TLR or Losi?
This is a Losi. This is a Losi.
Because I think it had basically been that anything 10 scale or 8 scale has been TLR. Well, and then anything 5th scale is Losi.
No, they had some Losi short course trucks as well.
Yeah, Losi short course trucks. There's Losi. Another big thing we kind of missed because we haven't been, but they released there's little NASCAR things. There's little NASCAR racers.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Brian Nunez about that. He's the guy I've had him on the podcast, by the way. He's a great chat with him, but he's in charge of doing all the licensing for Horizon and Losi. And he's off to the Coca-Cola 600 this weekend coming. Because I asked him if he's going to the ARRMAGeddon. So I really think that's a great I saw a lot of Losi people getting mad at that. Maybe you could bring it up, Cade. You seem to be faster with this type of stuff.
I just brought it up.
Yeah, there's NASCARs. These little, at what scale are they?
12.
So these are 12 scale 4-wheel drive, I believe. NASCAR replica.
All-wheel drive NASCAR RTR. Let's take
NASCAR replicas. These things are going to sell like hotcakes. They're going to have them set up. I see people always, when we think RC nerds think about, we want to get racing in front of people. We always think about off-road and what we do. But imagine having these at a track, at a NASCAR race, like a little track set up. It could be on like a circuit track on oval. These look like real cars. They're small. They're cheap. I bet you they sell a lot of them. And this will be one of the things that get people into RC. See, us RC racing fucking nerds can't think that far ahead. We just think they haven't put out any parts for 10 scale Losi for off-road vehicles. Yes, I understand that you need 10 scale parts and all that type of stuff too. But this is probably going to get people into RC racing. People's going to pick this up. They like it. They're going to probably go do some on-road racing. I can see a whole class coming out of stuff like this. And it looks real. I mean, it looks like something that are people that are going to the NASCAR race and say, oh, I like this. I want this. So I like it. I like this. I want one.
And to be honest, this is probably what funded the TLR 10 scale parts as well.
Exactly. Or is going to fund. What's the price check on this anyway? I cannot see.
$180.
There you go. Like 100. People's going to buy 3 of these at a NASCAR race. I need one for me, my wife, and my children. And they're going to come home and they're going to sell a bunch of them. They're going to race them around. And this is the type of stuff that's going to get back to that grassroots parking lot, having fun type of racing that did a lot of good for RC back in the day, like the Slash did and all that type of stuff. So I really like that stuff. Of course, this received a lot of criticism from the racing community because it's not what we wanted in 10 scale and all that stuff. But it is also, I know I went off on a tangent, but it is also weird that they marketed that car as a Losi and not TLR. So maybe they're trying to capitalize back on the Losi name from TLR. Who knows what they're doing at Horizon? But hey, if it gets more people racing and gets more people into racing at a very good price point, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they separate Losi and TLR. Like, pick one. I don't see a point in any way of marketing. I don't know. Like, I don't really.
Maybe I have to go revisit. But they want to be racing. And they wanted the Losi
I guess
name.
the same reason why they don't call Element crawlers team associated crawlers.
No, but I think that's still very different.
Because Losi had a brand, was a racing brand. Team
Losi was a racing brand, but now it's just Team Losi Racing, I like to think of it like the difference between Mercedes and AMG.
Yeah, but I think that's the same. Like, if you say AMG, everyone's going to think Mercedes.
If you say Losi, people will think TLR too. Or actually, other way around.
But I think it's like, from a marketing perspective, they have, because Mercedes and AMG, colors the same, font is same, everything's same. But Losi and TLR, their outlook is very different. I mean, some corporate,
there's probably some market corporate reason why they do that, but I don't know.
But I think the initial reason was because Tamiya was big at the time when TLR was done. So Tamiya had Tamiya and then TRF, Tamiya Racing Factory. So I think Losi kind of wanted that brand because Tamiya was really big on collectibles, which they are only doing now. The TRF is gone basically, except for now they released the on-road car.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been gone for a while. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just my way of looking at branding, but to me, it's just confusing having two, especially because they kind of release stuff. Like this car is obviously a TLR, but then they have an ARRMA car that's called a TLR, but this is called a Losi.
But the ARRMA car is completely different, right? The ARRMA car is a Durango, pretty much, isn't it an old Durango or whatever?
It's a Durango DEX.
Yeah. I mean, ARRMA and Durango is basically same, but then Durango went away, so ARRMA is only that's left.
Okay. Anywho, good pickup on those there, Cade, because I hadn't seen that. Max, you have some news for us, you say?
Yeah, I have some news. Okay, so let's go. Show
is this under gossip or is this under?
This is on the news. Where it's gossip. It's gossip, straight up gossip. Okay. So
this is what Joey Fisher was talking about to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't. I'm trying to follow it, but I can't follow it. Go ahead, Max.
Okay. So, obviously, Eric Anderson is the new president of IFMAR. Well, there was some. He made some comments. I think it's like a private chat too, where someone has leaked this, and he's roasting our good friend Horizon here. And yeah, I don't know. I guess someone got a bit unhappy with his comments and shared this, but yeah, at least
what are they talking about? I have no idea.
I'm kind of lost here.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost how this is.
Okay. Let me, because I thought basically this is a private chat, so that is chit chatting here. Okay,
this doesn't look like a private chat. This looks like a post. But anyway,
this is like a comment section.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a Discord.
It looks like a.
Actually, it could be. Is that a Discord?
It looks like a Discord,
or it's just Facebook with dark theme.
It looks like Facebook to me.
I don't know what it is. Facebook has round profile pictures. Okay, I don't know what it is, but as I understood it, it's private. Okay, so it's a group of people. But so basically, there's some Mimo buggy. I think it's a Mimo buggy post or something. It's called XCon. Oh no, it's not even a Mimo buggy post.
It's Exalt.
It's just an Exalt post, which someone commented another product straight from Amazon, and then Eric shared it, and then he kind of goes on to roast them because, like, apparently, according to him, the Exalt is same as like some other motor that's kind of like cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that he it makes Exalt look stupid, or I don't know if he says that he wants to make Exalt look stupid, or that this makes Exalt look stupid. And then he says, what till he gets that cease and desist order that's coming from Horizon. That was the first kind of thing. And then XCon, what he may be when Horizon is done with him, kind of roasting Horizon again. And then they have actually went with this joke. So Exalt has made a post that has a hashtag that's not available on Amazon. Okay. And then Eric Anderson responds to this comment or post, hashtag still garbage. So now he's going like all in on Exalt. And then, I mean, others are roasting them too. So it's not like he's the only one, but people are roasting Exalt. And then there's this, they release a battery IR checker, and then he comments on that again. They are over a year late with this. Oh, this was actually the first one. So this is where it all started from, this whole chain. But he's kind of just all out roasting Exalt. And Joey makes this point, which I do think actually is a good point. Maybe this is not the classiest way to go about this, but Joey makes this point that I don't think the IFMAR president should be talking trash about anyone's source of income and how they provide for their family. And he said there's someone leaking these private messages to someone like me shows that your inner circle is broken and you're not the right person to represent our hobby or the highest position in our competition committee. And he says that I don't even understand. I don't run these products, but I don't understand this personal hate, because he's like, no one else is really like going that hard on Exalt, but he keeps bringing it up and roasting them. So I don't know. There must be some personal beef. I don't really even give a shit about Exalt or like that. And to be honest, it's somewhat of a private chat, but there are multiple people that, you know, are unrelated to this thing. So it's not like a fully private. I think it's a Discord.
I mean,
I don't know what Discord.
I don't see. Okay, he was.
That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kevin Abbott and I like Exalt and all that stuff, but this is like normal stuff you hear from people on a regular chat. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. Okay, Eric Anderson is the IFMAR president, but I don't know. Like, I don't. For me, it's not that big of a deal.
For me, I think that it's the fact that he keeps bringing it up and like acting like, you know what I said like before, like act like gentlemen. Like when you are at a position that's supposed to be like, I don't know, at that level, especially when it comes to IFMAR, you're supposed to act a little bit more mature than that. And he's talking like a...
If this was a public chat, then of course. But this is a private chat somewhere.
It is a private chat, and that's what I was getting at.
I understand that, but okay. I mean...
But this is, I think, okay.
Do you think that...
I don't know.
Do you think that Dallas and God rest his soul and all these other people in IFMAR ain't sitting around talking shit? Like, this just happens to be that it's on a Discord or whatever. Somebody leaked it. Okay. I don't really.
It just seems more personal than that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I guess you did the old thing. Don't say it where you can be recorded or somebody can capture it. I guess that means in the chat as well. But
yeah, okay. But this, looking at the people who are responding to this, it looks like this is the Awesomatics Discord.
The Awesomatics Discord?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it could be.
It looks very like Discord, looking at the.
Because if it's a Discord, it is public.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's private.
Yeah, but I mean,
Discords, they're sort of half and half. You need to be invited to the Discord, but once you're in the Discord, everything's public.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is specifically Awesomatics, but looking at these people, everyone is running Awesomatics who are in this group. And let me say that no one else is really like saying anything bad about exalt or roasting or saying anything like too bad. So it's kind of like all on him. So
does this make him unworthy to be a IFMAR president?
No, not necessarily. But if he acts like this all the time, then yes.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to see Keenan's reaction, because this is actually a great time for my intervention now.
No, actually, it's should wait because it's still on the Hitec.
It's still on the Hitec.
Oh. he lagged out. He got cold feet.
Oh no!
Did I freeze?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you froze.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the internet went back and forth. We should have the intervention at the end, my opinion.
No. We're having it now.
No, because we have so much to talk about. Let's get that done.
But I mean, it's a quick intervention. Okay. But I have to say that Keenan has I don't want to say sold out because he isn't making any money.
Max says, "I'm not part of the resist." This is his exact words.
Yeah,
I'm having an intervention for you. You're not part of the resistance. You're a normie, and I cracked up when I saw that.
Keenan has become part of the normie. It's kind of like he was like all up with the resistance. Let's change things for the better. And he's gotten a little taste of the
say your part, because I have a rebuttal for this. I have this rebuttal. I have a perfect rebuttal.
He's gotten his little taste of sweet berry wine, going to races, enjoying the RC culture and making his place in the scene. And now he's like, nah, I don't know, man. I don't want to. I'm not about that. I'm not about the resistance life anymore. He's like. He knows me and JQ are right, okay? He knows because me and JQ we have to up it a bit because Keenan, we're losing you. We're losing you from.
So is this your final word on your intervention?
Yeah, I think.
So basically, you say I'm not part of the resistance anymore. All right. So I've been thinking about this since you told me this the other day. Because I knew this was going to come up after our last podcast that we had together. What you don't understand, middleman Max, is that I am actually doing more for the resistance now than I ever did before. So let me explain something to you.
That's what
youngling. You are 24 years old, right? When I was 24 years old, you couldn't tell me shit. I wanted to fight the world. Right, I had 2 good arms. I was down for anything that was the good cause. Hey, I'm at work. Everybody's complaining about something. I'm the guy that speaks up about it. When I go to look behind my back, where's everybody that was complaining 5 minutes later? They're gone. Who gets in trouble? Me, right? We at this podcast, we have helped. We talk about things. We still do. We talk about things. We bring up solutions and all that stuff. We still do that. But you know what's happened now? Do we want change, or do we just want to continually fight? Right? So that's where you have to make. Just because I'm not up there chaining myself to trees or laying under the tracks of tanks or out there with signs picketing things and all that type of stuff, I actually have figured out, you know what? We're not going to make a lot. When it's time to kick shit and make noise and challenge the authority and, cause a disturbance, we need to do it, right? But when that's all you do all the time and you can't come together to work with those people, because at some point you have to work with these people, right? At some point you're going to have to work with if change really wants to happen. So you really want change? I'll give you fucking change, Maximus, middleman, Mort.
He's rehearsing this.
No.
He said this in front of a mirror at least a few times.
So I will give a great example, right? Because I have come to appreciate the others. As I've gotten older, I'm much older than you guys. I'm about 22 years older than you. I'm even 5 years older than JQ, right? As I've gotten older, I've learned you can also get what you can also get change by getting in working and doing things to make change happen. I'll give you a prime example of what I think has happened because of me getting in and doing something. I have also come to the like, I know JQ's thing was he was talking about Joey in the last podcast, and you know, JQ's are these money grabbing races and all that stuff. Well, I've seen the other side of that race now. I've seen the money that's put out. I've seen the time that's put out. You know, I'm here. We're organizing races now. Have you seen the amount of work that goes in just to go to do one of these events? It's immense. It's a lot of work, right? For other, and people have to understand. Well, we're putting in work too. But you're going there to race and enjoy yourself. We're going there to put on the race for you. So I'll give you a prime example of how sometimes. Now there are times when you have to kick shit and make noise, and we do that, right? But we can't. We don't have to do it all the time. And as you get older, you'll realize that too. Here's an example. Now, about a year and a half ago, Dave from Racetime Entertainment and I were butting heads. You know, we didn't like each other. Why? We didn't like each other. And we didn't like each other because we criticized his race a lot, his races. Now, I give Dave a lot of credit. We criticized and he done things different. We criticized trophies. He got better trophies. Some really great trophies. We said, let's try a different race. Let's try a different race format. He did that with AMS. He did it for about 3 years where he didn't really make the money he's supposed to make, but he still stuck with it. And this last AMS, it had more interest, but still you got your track time. So when I got to, I kind of had a revelation about a year ago that we're not going to change these races because 1, these guys have to make money. 2, people seem to enjoy them. 3, they still are great races because I like to see the best of the best race at them, right? And that means like the pro guys and all that stuff. So when Live RC called me to go to PNB last year, the first thing I said to Brandon Roddy was, I was like, man, I don't know if Dave's okay with it because, you know, Dave and I butt heads, and he goes, I already talked to Dave and you're good to come. So when I got up there, Dave and I had a chat. He took me for a drive in the golf cart. He showed me all these different stuff. And so, you see this, Keenan? I had to pay for this. See this? I had to pay for that. Like, I understand. And by the way, PNB is one of the most expensive venues, or is the most expensive venue for him because it's a big play. You've been there, right? So he went around and showed me this. Also, the last year, I've been working. I've been going to these events. I've been seeing how much work they go. Remember, I'm getting up there Tuesdays or Wednesdays before these races start. So I'm watching these races, the work that goes in prior to that as well. The work that goes in during it. The point is also to make money. Now, how did this happen? How did this change? How did this affect change in this event? One of the things we always used to talk about was coverage of races, right? We want better coverage. Why? Because we like to geek out on it. We like, people at home like to geek out on it. That's what we like. And we think the more RC racing we have out in the algorithm out there, the better is somebody who's going to stumble across it. Correct? Wicked Weekend, which was last year, has never really had the coverage that you used to get from that you would see at a PNB. Right? Because at the end of the day, the race promoters are putting on this race for racers, right? Not people at home. So I get that point too. So I got to work with Racetime Entertainment. We have Dave's guy, Jacob. Was me, Danny Paz. We brought in another camera guy, was Travis Melton, who works for Live RC. So he came in. Patrick was there. We had Gene Strout, who was another camera guy. So we got to work together as a team to bring a level of coverage to Wicked Weekend that hasn't been seen yet. It was done. People were happy. People enjoyed it. Dave was happy about it. We had a great time doing it. So it went from, we weren't on a friendly basis, over the last couple of years to I got to work with him. We've gotten back. We were friends and all that type of stuff. We're doing more events. So now he sees the importance of having the coverage, of having that there and all that type of stuff. So we're coming back to these races. When he found out that I wasn't coming to PNB, he was like, what? You're not coming? Like, he was like, can you come from Portugal? I was like, no, I'm going to be in Portugal. So while you say I'm not part of the resistance, of course I'm still part of the resistance. Yes, I fundamentally agree that having a race capped and having less entries, more runtime is a better way of racing. But I also understand that You're trying to change an attitude that is already in that stage. Like, this is what they're going to have. So why not work with what we have to what's the word? Work with what we have and the people that we have. That takes not insulting them, not saying they're racist shit, not saying all this type of stuff. It means working together with them and influencing that product from within. So that's now what my goal is. And I'm seeing it a lot more efficient than just constantly bashing that event. Yes, when you have to bash, you have to bash. Like I had zero issue with there being 1,200 entries at Silver State. The issue was the cap, right? Saying that there was a cap. Why I have no issue with 1,200 entries? Because yes, Joey has to make money. I'm sure that Silver State race costs a lot of money to put on, right? But if you're gonna have 1,200 entries, people need to know prior to coming in that something's got to suffer, right? That just like when P&B had the 1,000 entries and they had to cut a qualifier, something has to suffer because you can't physically do it. So while you may think I'm not out there fucking, I don't know what else, egging people, laying down in front of fucking setting myself on fire, I don't know, or refusing to do all this because you're young and you're in this stage of life where you want to do whatever you feel is right to change things, and I get that, right? But I'm older and I'm learning that as I get older, you can influence more things by working with people than you can by insulting them and saying that shit and all this type of stuff. And that's one of the points I was trying to bring across to JQ on the last podcast. So yes, am I still a part of the resistance? Yes, of course. But at the same time, I believe that you catch more. There's an old saying: you catch more flies with honey than you do shit, and you don't stink up the place when you do with honey. So when you have honey, people like to come around, and it don't stink. But when you have shit, you're eventually going to leave a smell. You're still going to attract flies. So yes, you are absolutely 100% fucking wrong, Max. I am not. So don't get me wrong. When things have to happen. So this situation, I don't really. It's guys talking shit in our Discord. We talk shit in our Discord, right? We talk. There's things that are going on. I get it. He's the president. He's also a racer at heart, right? And this is racers talking shit. Yeah. So for me, it's not a big deal to me. Yeah. But how dare you question my loyalty to resistance?
Okay.
But see, the problem is you, JQ, and all you, what's the word? It's a word that begins with an A. You,
activist.
Not activists.
Anarchists.
You live, see, some people get addicted to the fight.
Well, right? I'm not.
And the fight, you are a little bit, because JQ has raised you well. JQ is addicted to the fight. JQ is addicted to the fight. Yeah. He likes to fight. He wants everybody to work together, but then he wants everybody to work together to his rules at the same time.
Yeah.
And he's 41 years old. Exactly. Yeah. You have to work with people. And JQ has worked with people, but at the same time, at the same time, I said, if you constantly insult people, you're going to lose your argument. So as the podcast has gotten bigger, as our platform has gotten bigger, we still have
become a normie.
Oh my God. I've become an influential, very big part of the resistance, because now more people are realizing about what we say. But we have to work with people, man. And to work with people, you have to have give and take.
Not insult them all the time.
Exactly.
Okay.
I constantly wake up and said, Max, you are shit. You are shit. You are shit. You are shittier than shit. Shit. Max, that's all you heard. Will you listen to me? Or will you listen to me when we say, hey, let's have a discussion about this, and let's talk about this, and let's do that? Oh, okay. Well, I'll do it with you. No. You have to watermelon me. All right. Let's get this over and done with. So go ahead. Have your rebuttal, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll have Kane's information.
Number one, the Eric Anderson thing, I don't really give a shit. Everyone in this sport is somehow like teamed up with someone and like hate someone else. No matter where you look, someone hates someone. So I don't really give a shit.
Can we just say that this is banter? Because this was JQ talking about banter in the last podcast.
It's banter. Too. It's banter. The only thing is, like, I mean, luckily,
should he have a little bit more responsibility of what he says as a IFMAR president? Absolutely. Yeah. Does this mean he's not going to be a good IFMAR president? No. He's still a racer at heart. And these OnRoad guys, man, they're pretty savage from what I'm found out.
Yeah. Okay. That thing I don't really give a shit about. I mean, it doesn't make him look good, but I don't really mind it. Unless something happens with Exalt included, then we know that he is a bit biased. But so far, nothing. Okay. My point is, in general, I do not insult. Like, you give same arguments to me as you give JQ, but I don't insult anyone. I call it as it is. Sometimes I say quite strictly, for example, like PMB back in the day, I used to like say some bad stuff, but I have never said that they suck or they do anything bad. Or I say that the way things are done is not good and it should be done another way. Okay. So that's all from all along. That has been my type. Obviously, I give a lot of critique. But I do think that I give it in a way where something can be learned from it. Now, I have to say that the reason why you are not part of the resistance anymore, it's because of the fact that, 2 years ago, you was a fighter for one class. Then you was like, okay, we can have 2 classes. And now you're like, sportsman is fine. You're on a slippery slope right here. You're slipping into the mud. You're slipping into the mud where all the normies lie in. And you have to fight back that urge to just accept the world as it is, okay?
I can't change the world, neither can you. You can only...
Everyone can change the world, okay?
Oh,
but the thing is, it takes time.
To be youthful and wishful. Go ahead.
Okay, but... to continue on this point, you said, which one was it? You said that people go to PMB and they like it. Yeah, some do. Mm-hmm. Some could like it more if it was improved. And like kind of what Scotty said in the interview with Joseph, JQ said, well, some people are not that happy. And then Scotty was like, people are having fun. But there's like, well, actually, not everyone's having fun because... they got fucking, they got pretty much like fucked.
They got bamboozled.
They got bamboozled. Yeah,
I like that word.
Yeah,
they got hornswoggled.
They got TVs are. That's sorry. Go ahead. I'll
yeah.
You'll have your word in a minute, Kate. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I think that's the attitude that I think is the what defines if someone's part of the resistance, because. You can say that something is bad and you can say that it's not good, but you can say that, well, this is how it is, but we could change it in the future. You don't have to say, oh, don't go to Silver State. Silver State sucks. Joey sucks. But you can say that.
No, nobody's saying that. None of us are saying that.
No. Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's obviously bad. But what Joseph even was saying, and what I'm saying is you have to be able to say out loud when someone does something fucked up. And even with PMB, there are things that still suck. There's things that still needs to be better at PMB. It's gotten much better since I went. Back then, they had no coverage at all. They had G Concepts. They had fucking Thomas Strand with a iPhone. That's all.
I remember that. I remember that. I forgot all about the Thomas Tran used to do that.
And then they had practice overnight, no blocks. Everything was silly. The lines were so big that the people couldn't fit to the place, so they had to go to the bleachers because the lines were so long. They fixed that because we complained about it for 4 years, and then Lance came in with an idea that they saw fitting to their needs, and they took it. but that would have not even been thought
Agreed.
of unless we like didn't hammer in that every time.
I agree.
They didn't have coverage.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So I think we can say PNB has done great. They have done things this and this and this and this good, but they can improve on this and this and this and this. And I think we have to be, because it's at the end of the day, the reason why, you know, you and Dave had beef was it's because it's emotional, you know.
Yeah,
Dave puts a lot of effort. Dave puts a lot of effort into that race. When someone says, "Hey, you could have done that better," obviously it fucking pisses you off. Like if someone tells, like, "Hey, instead of doing the podcast this way, you could do it this way," you're gonna be annoyed with that. I would be annoyed with that.
But like when people call and message me and complain about you.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything I say or you say in the podcast, like obviously it pisses you off. But I think what needs to be like adult people should be able to understand that, okay, I'm doing this good, I'm doing this not that good, let me improve on that. And sometimes you have to accept that, hey, I'm not good enough to fix it yet. I have to work on it, figure out a better solution, or maybe I need help from someone else, you know? But I think it's always the same, like with people, that you can't criticize anything. And that's because you're slipping there. You're slipping there. Like you don't want to say bad things about things, even though you know that they shouldn't be the way they are. Like sportsman isn't good for the hobby.
No.
Like, you know,
I have no issue with sportsman. I have no. So with that, I came to a realization about a year ago. That's not going to change. That's not going to change.
No, but this is what I'm talking about.
It's not going to change. I would rather look. We've beat this one class, this type of stuff, all that cover cap race, and that's it. We've beat that horse to complete death over the last 5 years of this podcast, and I'm just like, I'm over it. So how do we work with what we have? Right? It's like when somebody messaged
that's
me.
What we're already doing.
Right. So you say, Cade, you are an American RC racer. Are we going to one class?
More than likely, no.
Exactly.
Okay.
No. Do we have a race? Do we have a race that does that? That's the Nationals. That makes the Nationals special.
Okay, but again, my point isn't one class. My point is 2 classes instead of 3.
That's not going to happen because
it can happen, but not.
The thing is with that, Max, is you have 2 people or 2 groups of people who have 2 different arguments that both coincide within each other. And that's the pro people saying, I don't want to drive with people who don't know how to control their car.
Oh, no, but
that's the lower
pros.
And
the pros should be separate. We should have 2 classes.
No,
I'm talking about intermediate and sports.
No, even intermediate drivers will say that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, people move up to intermediate to get away from sportsman drivers.
But how do you like? Okay, that's a null argument. Okay, so this is my point. Exactly. When you're not part of the resistance, you start accepting these non-arguments as like.
But it's something you're not going to change.
There's so many other things no. You can change feelings. Okay, Keenan, you can't change facts, but you can't change people's attitudes and feelings. It takes time, but you can change them.
It's going to take decades in that case for America. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Okay, you heard it here. I didn't say anything bad about the Americans with Cade. He said that it's going to take decades for the Americans to change.
That's just
and I disagree.
What I've observed.
I believe in you Americans, all of you Americans. I believe in you that you can actually change this and you can be better than what these 2 American-loving goons think of you.
So let me ask you something, right, Max? We're starting to see in Europe more sportsman and intermediate classes. Why is that?
We see that only at one race.
No.
Does it.
You know what? I want that little meme, that little kid that goes, "How bullshit," because that's what I want to play right now, right?
So which races have it? Buggyland.
IBC has it. IBC has sportsman intermediate thing.
Yeah, it's only in that region because Miguelo does it.
Buggyland has it.
Yeah,
Miguelo doesn't do IBC.
No, but he's very much affiliated with them, and they do it because all of them appreciate the culture of American races, and they like going to American races because they think it's cool. They don't really have any like logic.
That's what makes American races American.
No, it's not the intermediate sportsman. What makes American races races are the tracks and the atmosphere.
Well, the thing is, again, that goes back to my other. You're frozen again, Keenan. My point from before is not just like
it must be bad weather out there or something.
Probably. What I was saying was like, not just the pros, but also intermediate level drivers will complain about lower level sportsman drivers getting in their way, and lower level sportsman drivers will complain about, hey, I don't want to pull over every 5 seconds for someone who's
but with 200 entries, like what? Like it's not that issue. It's maybe at a club level. Like
Max,
if you have 2 heats.
Max, let's just pump the brakes here. The last time you went to an American race was 2019. Shit has changed. You go to if you would have looked at it's where these races are bigger, dude. Sportsman
but that doesn't change.
Sportsman is the biggest class. Sportsman is the biggest class.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, Max.
At these
not
races,
the same.
It's not
at least depending on which race you go to.
Right, you come to these Southeast races, like these bigger Southeast races. The intermediate class fucking stacked number one and very hard, and the sportsman class is the biggest class at these races. Why? Because these people want to race. They're racing. Yes. Are there people that sandbagging sportsmen? Of course. There's people that should be in sportsmen that should be intermediate, right? Are there people that race pro that should be in the intermediate? Yes. Right? Because I think one thing I will agree with you here is that I think intermediate should be where 99% of the people should be at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that 1% go to the pro class. So I will agree there too. But you have to have that. The sportsman class lets people come out of these regional races. So you might have a sportsman who runs intermediate regionally, right? So that's where your disconnect is. You don't understand the regional to national level of things. So for instance, North Georgia. Example. Yeah, well, Arcade's here. We just went to the North Georgia shootout. It's a big regional Southeast race. It attracts people from outside of the Southeast, but this race had not one single top pro driver attend, mainly because it was Silver State, right? So you had guys, this was the conundrum with the NNRC Cup, right? You had guys that would run intermediate at PMB, SIC, AMS, Wiki Weekend, right? Because those are big nationally attended races. They ran, some of them ran pro, some of them stayed at intermediate, or these guys would be running pro class on a regional base in their regions. So you got to understand that, right? And people are intimidated. Like, people don't want to come to these races. And like Cade say, they don't want to be in the last main of intermediate, or they don't want to be in a qualifying or qualifying heat.
Well, someone's gonna always be at the last main of sportsman.
Of course, and also someone's gonna be some of the last main of intermediate. But Cade brings up valuable points, like the competition level of all these classes is going up to.
No, okay, you don't. I get
what you're saying, but it is. These people feel comfortable in that class. That's the whole point of sportsman. You stay there till you win, and you're ready to bump up to intermediate. Some people might just be sportsmen for their entire lives. That's their level, right?
Yeah. But
so these races,
point? You could.
People are happy.
Instead of
people are happy. That is the point. People are happy and enjoying the.
No, they're not.
That is. How do you know? How can you speak?
Because every single race, I see a post on Facebook
about somebody sandbagging.
Yeah.
So you know why? You know why these people are complaining about this? Because these people look at the number of goddamn sponsors somebody has on their shirt and thinks that actually equates to skill when it doesn't.
Here we go again.
Keenan, so you're saying to me right now that instead of making an adjustment by fixing people's attitudes towards two classes, which they already have major disagreements with, we should try to teach all of the American drivers that sponsorship is actually not equating to skill level, and actually like it's like this, and you should think this way. No, Keenan, yours is like way out of it. Mine is much more realistic. Yours is like, We should change how we should make people smarter, Keen. Your solution is basically let's make people think smarter. My solution is let's change things so we don't have this issue. Okay?
I mean, to be honest, both are going to be very difficult to do.
Both are difficult to do, but the other one is just unrealistic. Making people smarter is not realistic.
No, you're not. It's not about that, Max. It's just people have to realize that sponsorship does not equate to skill, and I think more and more people are thinking that. What? Because
you
this isn't 15 years ago.
Realize something. You're not going to make 800 people at PNB understand.
Look at
what you're trying to say.
There's not 800 people at PNB, by the way. There's 800 entries.
Oh yeah,
I think the more I think. Look, there's people that come into this hobby. 3 months they have a sponsor. They have a chassis deal, right?
Okay, but this is like.
How did we get back to the sportsman sponsored thing again?
Because this has been mine and Keenan's big
because that's the biggest complaint I heard is like, how is this person a sportsman? Isn't there supposed to be a rule where you can't have a chassis sponsor? The only races that have that are, you know what? I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not even.
I think we have to have like a full podcast for this topic.
So Max, you want to eliminate sportsmen?
I think this is the defining difference between.
So what happens?
I think you've left resistance.
So you want to eliminate sportsmen, right?
Yeah.
And just have everybody 2 classes. So you want intermediate and pro.
Yeah.
All right. So what happens?
The open and pro.
So what happens when that race that costs $50,000 to put on, right? And you only make 60 goes away because they went to that suggestion. What happens then?
How much goes away?
What happens when that race that used to make a decent profit, because the classes is also about entries, right?
Okay.
More people listen.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I will, because there's sports.
They will lose entries. Yeah, I agree.
They will lose entries because people feel comfortable being in that sportsman class. And if you use the sportsman class how it is, it's to learn. It's to, and hopefully your goal should be to get out of there. We've had this discussion. If you're young and that's what you want to do, you go sportsman intermediate. If you want to be a pro, you go up to pro, stuff like that. But you got to understand, you're talking about eliminating the biggest class. 2 of the biggest class. Sportsman Ebuggy is actually probably the biggest class at the race time events, number 1. And that you're going to eliminate, you eliminate a big source of income for that race. When that race ceases to become...
Do you sincerely believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you sincerely believe that if you cut out sportsmen,
you
will lose all the people? Every single one.
You will lose a big chunk. Yes.
You would lose a decent chunk of people based on
but
hey, I don't want to
think
hey,
like 50%?
Yeah, because let me put it to you this way. There are drivers in intermediate at a local level and not at a local level, but at a national level who go to national level events, who run intermediate, who run pro at regional levels. Now, when you yourself as a sportsman level driver look at someone and say, shit, I'm going to be in the same class as Aiden Ridgway. Let's say that, for example. For a lot of people, that would be a complete turnoff to me wanting to actually
He's fast. He's very fast, Aiden Ridgway. Very fast.
But there's
you gotta understand, Max. It's more intricacies than this. Like, it's
also not everyone is going
Roach.
to think. Sorry. Also, not everyone. It's kind of a delicate balancing act because not everyone wants to try and get as good as those people, but they want to get better. If that makes sense. I know your point, and I know why the people are like thinking this way. But I think like with your logic, wouldn't it make sense to add another class? Then you'd split up the diversity a little bit more. But
so
with
with your logic, wouldn't
with
it
that being said, this kind of reminds me of a recommendation I got in one of my comments. I have it up right now. It's from our very favorite Charlie Mack about his ideas, and it was going based off of like exactly that, like the majority of people would be in like the intermediate class or from open to 75% sponsorship class. And, well, do you mind if I read it?
You go ahead.
Okay. So let me pull it up real quick. Let me just get rid of my...
By the way, we're not going to stay on this too much longer because we have a lot of races to go through. I already see your girlfriend giving you the evil eye, Max.
Yeah.
Whenever Max starts looking at like that, his girlfriend's like,
yeah.
I'm going to tie you to a tree, you anarchist.
I'll leave it for later then.
No, go ahead. Read it.
Read
the comment.
Okay, the comment set, it's a little bit long. So next to definitions, here's I believe we should correct these classifications. Sportsman, intermediate, expert can be defined as split with skill level full stop. Racers can register where they see fit. However, if qualified in the top 5 to the next level, they are moved up. Privateer, 0. There's also another one where there's privateer, 0% sponsorship, open, 0 to 75 sponsorships, pro, 75 to 100% sponsorships. They can be defined as a split determined by chassis level sponsorship, full stop. Structure the pro classes as they should be. Let us crazy open drivers have fun at the track, or try to make the name for ourselves an effort to earn pro status. And we will also consider shortening the privateer class significantly so privateers don't have to be there the whole day or weekend. There's also, he did say a little bit more in another podcast, but I'll talk about that later, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that makes much more sense.
That makes sense on paper. But you also have to understand that would require the chassis manufacturers coming under a unified percentage.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it would.
Really.
Because listen, somebody's 65 could be more than a 75. That's what I'm just saying. Because there's no
associated 75 could be worth more than a 75.
So when you're going to base it off you're going to be basing it off of this is the issue, right? If there was a uniform,
you would self-determine it.
Can I finish? If you base if chassis manufacturer sponsorship was based off a uniformed, structured percentage rate, then you can make these type of decisions. But it's not. And there might be somebody out there with 100% or 75% deal who fucking sucks, but they're really good at helping it. Like they've been there for 20 years and they've been that brand loyalty and for this long, and that's why they have a good deal. See, that's where you come to the whole point of sponsorship doesn't equate to skill level. What would be great is actually one of our statistics. Was our questions that comes up later on, where you actually have statistics and judge people off their wins. If you could judge people off what they do at a race, so obviously like regional races will be rated differently from national races. Now this is the slippery slope that is sponsorship and classes, because unlike 8 scale,
let's not go into this.
10. So just like what I always say, 10 scale, 10 scale can be 10 scale off-road and on-road can be changed via mechanically, right? If you can run 21.5 and off-road. Obviously, stock is a whole different thing, but they have like a stock independent, all that type of stuff. I don't see any way of regulating it. And if you continually use sponsorship percentage as a regulation, then you're kind of basing your whole thing off something that in itself isn't even uniformed across the board.
What about what they did at Wildy events and do spec tires and have an open class as well?
I like that idea, but spec tires is another thing that's hard to sell to people. I prefer
but they had a separate class for.
I know they have a spec tire class. I know.
Yeah. Okay, but I think like the sponsorship thing, that's the dumbest argument ever to separate classes. Okay, so like sponsorships, like we shouldn't even be talking about that anymore because we know it's never going to work. No matter what you do, it's never going to work. But the idea from this comment, at least the most interesting idea from this comment, is that any driver could self-determine their class. So any driver could sign up to this class at a certain level, okay? So essentially, instead of having intermediate and sportsman, 2 options. You would have like, let's say 15 options, 20 options. Okay. So you could say, I am this level driver and I am like, whatever, non-sponsored, or let's say I'm this level driver and I don't really take this seriously. I just go to this race for fun, So you have, let's say 15 classes and you have that. How much is PMB is like 150 at sportsman and like 70 at intermediate or something. So you have that around 200 people and you separate them into, let's say 30 driver groups. At the end of the day, when the racing is finished, these groups will be at, like, if you put it all together, like the fastest class and follow up with them, at the end of the weekend, they will be approximately at the same order as they would be if there was one class run. Okay? So having more and more classes would end up in a similar situation, but you'd know who you go against. Right now, there's no thing that who you're going against. It's like you're going against a guy who gets all his shit for free, but he still runs sportsman, like Jay Smoker, Or then you're going against a guy in intermediate who like absolutely sucks, but they don't want to run sportsman or whatever, And there's no way of determining and like who is who. There could be a guy who's run for 40 years or a kid who's at his second big race. And they could be on the podium of sportsmen, which we see all the time. And then because the kid has better sponsorship, someone's going to complain online that this kid's sandbagging. And that's a fucking 12-year-old kid having the time of his life, getting his first big podium at a sportsman, That's like, it's unnecessary negativity that this brings. So instead of having these 2 classes, why not either eliminate the class altogether and say A, B, C, D, E, so on, or have 15 classes. So it's like, I'm not pro yet, but I want to be pro. That's one class. And then it's like, I'm not pro yet, I'm not good enough, but I still want to be competitive. That's the second one. And then you go down and you end up having like around 10 classes. You get what I mean? And that would end up with a similar result as it would have to be as it would be in an open class. But right now, we have the worst of both worlds. You have people who have like a 10-minute main, who don't get a trophy, they don't get any benefits of running sportsman or intermediate, or the reason why they would run any of the 2 classes. And you also have the issues with sandbagging. So there's no good things about these 2 classes. The more the classes, the better it actually would be, or less the classes, the better it would be, which is 1. You understand my point? Or is this too difficult?
I'm pondering it.
Yeah.
Skullduggery. I don't know. I just wanted to say that word. I'm kind of just over it. Kid.
Yeah, I know.
Are we going to 1 class ever? Or a sportsman, intermediate, and
I could see more classes being the direction that we go, not necessarily less. I could see that happening more often than not. I could see spec tires, at least on the West Coast, be more popular. But on the East Coast, where people like their pirate sponsorships, I'm not so sure.
Okay. I don't know, man. It's a conundrum. I don't know the answer to it. All I know is that I like these races because they have the best of the best racing them, and it's a great atmosphere at these races, and I enjoy going to them.
Yeah, and but that's only because of 30 people, the pro class.
Yeah, but not. I mean, I enjoy going and hanging out. But I enjoy the racing in the lower classes too, as well. But I just think each country has their way of racing. Asia has its way of racing. They have paid marshals and all this type of stuff. Europe has their way of racing, and America has their way of racing. And we all get together for one big race at the end every 2 years, which has a way of racing.
Yeah,
which is
that's
more
2 weeks long and fucking stupid,
That's-
and you get 3 days or 4 days of practice and one 20-minute main, and you pay $200.
I do
for it.
think 10. I think 10 days for the Worlds is a little. That's not 10 days. It's a
fucking
week long.
stupid.
It's a week long.
It's stupid.
It's a week long. It's 6 days. It starts on. I think. All right, that's an argument for a different day.
Yeah,
I think they could definitely do more than 2 runs a day.
Yeah.
All right, so I can see Cade's fading. Max is getting late. Let's move on.
Let's move on to what we went on a fucking hour on that one. But
I know that. I
main
blame
point,
you.
Keenan has betrayed the resistance. You always want to watch strongest fighters, and right now you're bending over to the normies.
Okay. I'll make
don't
sure
accept don't accept. You're being fucking blue. You're blue pilling yourself, Keenan.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. I didn't even know what that means, and I don't even want to know.
Like, you know,
what
in the
means.
Matrix, you know it's all false, but you take the blue pill and you just accept it, you know. And the red pill is
Well, you know what, Max? I'll go out there and make sure to tie myself to some trees, and also I'll make sure to fucking I don't know what other stuff do you anarchists do?
No. Tie yourself to a sandbagger. Put like on your left arm. Someone needs to get
handcuff yourself to a sandbagger.
Yeah. Handcuff yourself to a sandbagger. You know, that's what I need from you, Keenan. That's what I need from you.
All right, we're gonna that damn microphone of Cade. You know what? Don't come to Beachline. Get yourself a boom mic for a boom stand for your mic, Cade.
All right. I move a lot when I sit down. I'm sorry.
I know. All right, we're going to move on to the Coursatech USA race recaps. We're going to go over some of the races that we have missed while we've been going. That is brought to you by Coursatech USA. Is your one-stop things for all Coursatech in the USA. You can all purchase all the Coursatech range of products for nitro and electric-powered vehicles and accessories used by world champions David Ronnefalk and Robert Battier, both European champions at the same time. Established in 2022 by Adrian Bertine and Oscar Jenskin, Coursatech is made for racers by racers, all available in the USA. You can find a link for it in the Coursatech USA in the written description below of this podcast, whether you're listening to it on audio only or you're watching it on YouTube. All right, so this is quite over a month ago, but we had the Raw won the first set of the Nationals this year. Raw Nationals happened at Beach RC April 17th to 21st at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Rivkin won everything. Did he win truck as well?
He did not win truck. Aiden Horn won truck.
Yeah,
Aiden Horn won truck. And Spencer Rivkin came first in two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, beat his nemesis, Dakota Fenn, and reigning two-wheel drive world champion Tater Sontag. And then Aiden Horn won truck. And Max, your pick, I picked Dakota Fenn to win this, and he did not at all. Your pick for stock was one of the Raymond twins, and he won. I don't remember.
I don't know which one, but one of them won.
Levi won.
Okay. But we have not been probably talking about 10 scale and the switch between Fenn dominance to now Rivkin dominance.
Absolutely. Because they were kind of going tit for tat.
Yeah, because year or two ago, Fenn won everything. Fenn won Nitro Buggy, 10 scale, he won everything. And then there was kind of like a fight between the two. Like Spencer got a win here and there. But for a while, since the Worlds, basically, Rivkin has won everything.
He has. He has done very well.
Bada won at the Desert Classic, but Rivkin won four-wheel drive, didn't he? So
I think Rivkin looked at that like less than 0.0 second he could have gotten on Ongaro that one four-wheel drive lap, and he's like, I'm never going to let that happen again.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what
he's been doing quite well in 8 scale as well.
He's been better. He's been better.
He's had numerous top 5s, and he did break a shock at Silver State. He is still fast on 3 shocks, and probably was the one guy who really had anything for JC3 at Silver State, had a shock not broken. So
yeah, I think with Rivkin, you can go ahead and play the video if you want, but I think with Rivkin in 8 scale, it's the East Coast that he struggles with. You know, West Coast, he's good. He's really good. And been for a while. And I think, you know, like, remember TNR, he beat Mayfield. That was good. Silver State, didn't he TQ around or finish second? But it's the East Coast. I don't know why, but he used to be really good. You remember, we was talking about, before they released the B4, we was talking about, like, Rivkin's looking really good. He was doing podiums all year long, but since, like, last year, he really struggled. I can't tell you why, but
to be honest, like, just based on, like, I guess, what's this called? Like, just general fare and general speaking, people didn't really like the B4 when it first came out compared to the old car. Maybe Rivkin felt the same.
I think because it annoys me because I kind of, well, I mean, I didn't tell them, but I knew that if they did those changes like they did, that it would not be good, especially for Rivkin, the way he drove, because the B 3.2 was a really good car. So I feel, because I feel bad for Rivkin, because he was actually looking good for a while. Luckily, he's now getting back to it. Like, they updated the chassis last year. Since then, he's been good on the West Coast. The 10mm rear wheel chassis. He's been good on the West Coast, but he still struggles at the East Coast. Obviously, Ongaro's doing well. You know,
I have a question.
Some other drivers are doing well, so there's something must be that needs to.
By the way, we are watching the live RC coverage from the Raw Nationals. This is at Beach RC. We're going to talk about the track because that was a big talking point again, like it was at Masters. Are we seeing so? Not taking away from Rivkin, because it's obviously been putting in a lot of work as well. Them guys have been testing a lot with the cars and whatnot. Is this more of a case of Rivkin getting better or Fenn falling off a little bit as well, or a mixture of both?
I'd say a mixture of both. Definitely a mixture of both. I'd say it leans more, at least in 10 scale, I think it leans more towards Fenn kind of falling off.
How about the car being an issue with the outdated Losi car? No, you know,
I don't think it. Well, the thing is with the Losi, I don't know. It's kind of. Get back to me on that for real quick.
I say that because I was talking to a TLR driver who got in trouble recently because he had the, you know how they were running the associated front end parts on at the Worlds and all that stuff. Well, he had them on his car at a local race. And pictures were taken because he was out on the track, and he got emails and stuff about that. So, I'm told that Fenn and those guys aren't running that anymore. Who knows? But
I mean, depending on who you ask, that's what won them the Worlds.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What's your thoughts on that, Max?
I don't know. I think the TLR car is fine. Why would it be bad now? Because it was really good a year ago. They haven't changed anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like others have gotten so much better. I mean, associated.
Depending on who you ask with the B7, they kind of got worse.
Yeah, you heard
yeah.
that too.
I mean, I'd say the B7 is better. Like, even if you look at this, what is there? 1, 2,
Horn.
3. Oh no, let me use X-ray.
Let me use X-ray. Sontag Chaplin, to be honest, and Cavalier Schumacher.
X-ray and Associated both released new cars, so they are the only ones apart from Schumacher in this main. So you could argue that, you know, maybe it's dropped back a bit. I mean, because everyone said TLR was the best car last year. Maybe it's not the best car anymore. Maybe it's a little bit even behind X-ray and Associated. Who knows? But
on that note about the B7, I don't think it's a slow car. I just don't think it's idiot proof anymore like the B6 was.
Yeah, I think. I mean, all the issues I've heard is with durability. It's not really like handling is bad. I think everyone has enjoyed the handling of the car, and I do think at least on higher grip, it has been faster, and it should be faster compared to the B6.
Okay,
but I think maybe Rivkin has had his like he's more together. He's been much more together in 10 scale. And because last year he was getting beat by Horn. Well, not last year, but the year before that, he was getting beat by Horn here and there. Now he's pretty much always the number one AE guy at every single
putting in
race.
that work, man. He's putting in that work. Too. Great support system around him too, with AE and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what he does at the 8 scale nationals coming up in June. A lot of big kerfuffle was about this track. Lucas, once again, I like it because it's got jumps on it that just don't send you forward. Obviously, I'm not racing on it, but a lot of concern was about this fence right here that eventually had bells put on it. The fence was put there to keep people from cutting the track. I just think, I think that these 10 scale guys ain't used to hard tracks. They're used to having tracks that don't jump. I liked it. I like that it takes people out of their comfort zone. And I like that the not getting 99% consistency, you know?
To be honest, I don't really even understand what's so difficult about this track. The back
jump, and people kept hitting that fence, trying to jump,
trying to cut the track.
Yeah, trying to cut the track.
But could you jump over the fence?
No, that's the issue. People were
trying to, and they were hitting
trying
the
to. Yeah, they were hitting the
bell. But I think that's just silly because looking at that racing, it's just they had off campus, they had a little tricky switchbacks, elevation jumps a bit angled. Back jump looked difficult. I think that's one, and the corner at the back. Those two maybe a bit weird features compared to the rest of the track, which was great. But yeah, I don't really understand what's so different about this. The pipes are high.
I think anything that takes people out of their comfort zone, it's not like. But I mean, I'm sure you heard it as well, Cade. Lots of people were complaining about it.
Well, the thing is for this track, I don't really get it. With the last one at Masters of Dirt, I kind of did because it was a little bit more difficult to marshal, especially in that middle not tabletop, like the rhythm section. I guess the multiple jumps, like the whatever it was called. But this track, it just seems. I mean, I never drove on it, but it just seems like a normal off-road track.
Yeah, I wasn't there. I can't tell. Hey man, suck it up, Buttercup. It's the Nationals. It's supposed to be hard. And you know who I want to give a big congratulations to? Mr. Craig Jackson.
Craig Jackson. He won 13.5 Stadium Truck.
He won 13.5 Stadium Truck. Good job there. He is one of the nicest men people I've met, and always smiling, always got positive things to say. I like him a lot. Good job. Good job to Lucas for once again upsetting people and making them come out of their comfort zone. I love it. All right. Up next was the Raw OnRoad Fuel Nationals that happened this past week. We're not going to delve too deep in this because this is definitely not our cup of tea, but this is so I do like this. They had once again, kind of low turnouts for this event. I think there was only one heat of GT, but right now we're going to get on board with we're about halfway through the 1/8 Open, which is I guess they call these the GP style racing. Bryce Butterfield takes the win in this class, as well as 200 millimeter stadium truck. 200 millimeter. Oh, come on, help me out, Max. 200 millimeter tour car sedan. That's the word I was looking for.
This is GT. This is
this is GP
track. No,
track.
Yeah, GP.
This is IC track. This is like
okay. I actually wrote it wrong here because I wrote it as 1/8 track, but yeah, it's GP, so it's Grand Prix racing, and then it's GT, which is Grand Tour, I think.
Yeah.
And then sedan is the touring car.
So Bryce Butterfield takes first. DJ Apalero, and Joaquin Bronu. That's your top three. In GT, it was my boy from the DR, Jose Almonte, Platino Power, taking the win, followed by Paulo Morgante, Junior Riley. In sedan, it was Bryce Butterfield, David Dunn and Donald Garcia and Scotty. He won the Masters of this. Scotty Ernst won 45 plus. He really likes this class.
Yes, he does.
If there's one class that's kind of, and there's no offense to it, this is a very weak class in the USA compared to like Europe and I would say Asia. But GT is hugely popular in Latin America. In fact, I'm going to a race in the DR where GT is probably going to be the biggest class, and they got some people coming in to invite. But good to see the class still going. I believe Bryce Butterfield went to the Worlds last year. I think he made it to the semis and wasn't able to get out of the semis. And I would say he's probably the best guy out there in America for 1/8 scale and 1/10 scale racing. I don't know what to say. I think that that sedan class seems to be dying because they have the Worlds in Costa Rica, and that's not looking too sharp. I mean, it is what it is. OnRoad in the USA is kind of a very, very OnRoad Nitro is a very, very niche part of the hobby with a small following. And I mean, but it's still good to see him having them.
It's a good to see them, but I think it's also for like a couple reasons. Mostly,
it's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. Like a Mugen, like you can get like a cheaper like sedan for like less than $400, but like who's going to do that?
Yeah. Anyway, you see them coming in for pits. I think that Scotty pitting somebody. I think they do tire. They have mandatory tire changes in this as well, which I do like.
I don't think it's mandatory, but like if you run the whole main with a one set, you're gonna wear out at like midpoint. It's kind of like the tire wear is so high, you have to do it.
I don't know. I just don't have the same like wow factor at this. If I was watching like and it's no offense, watching the Europeans go, because I know more of the Europeans, I guess.
Yeah, but I think a lot of these guys, like JJ Wang, used to race in America, but I mean he was winning, but he was not winning by much. You know, he was still fighting with these guys, and he was like top 10 racer in the world at a time. It's not like the American level isn't high. It's just there's not many guys.
Yeah, it's just very small.
It's a lot more niche.
Yeah.
And most of the talents are probably going to go to off-road anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys race like pan cars too on the winter time. So they don't really race any other class but these. So you don't really know their names because they don't race off-road. But
I mean, it is badass though. I love this stuff. I guess when you think about it, because we think of people like Colari and Dario Balestri or whatever his name. I can't pronounce his last name, but like I know those guys. I know guys like Ralph Barch Jr. was fast in this. Josh Sherrill used to run this. But it's I don't know. Bryce Butterfield seems to be very good at this. I think he would probably have to go to Europe and just race a little bit more over there. But that in itself is also difficult. But glad it's still happening, and congratulations to the winners, man. I'm super pumped for Jose. And good stuff. It's something I would like to do. I want to do fifth scale. So yeah, man.
I don't like fifth scale. But I want to say one thing you said, which is the sedan, because I remember we had the same conversation with Joseph a few podcasts back when he was on with him. And like it's just too close to the 1.8. You know, it's different body, a little bit.
Oh, you mean the GT?
No, the 110 sedan, you know.
Oh, right.
Touring cars.
But are they right.
Right.
I remember what you said.
Yeah, because it's like foam tires, four-wheel drive. It's a little bit smaller than the GP car, and then you have a different body. I think it's just not different enough, you know. It's kind of like Truggy and Buggy. It's similar, and then, you know.
I think it had its heyday with like TC3 days and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, that class has changed its shape so many times, because you had like Pro 10, and then you had like some other class, like I can't remember the names, but you had like 2 or 3 different classes before you had the 200mm sedan, and then like you've always had the GP class, so it's a tough one.
But you got your kid.
It's a body for a shaft-driven TRF TB Evolution. Back when touring cars were a lot more popular.
Yeah, because you raced touring car, right?
When I was a lot younger, yeah. Gotcha. There was one RC track called Hotshot RC in Marietta that ran indoor. They had like one track that was indoor dirt, another one that was indoor carpet, but the dirt would always get on the carpet, and they eventually just said screw it.
Well, I think that's what happened, right? A lot of these cars went to carpet and these perfectly manufactured tracks and got away from that parking lot where it was uneven, more dirty. You know, I know like my buddy Peter Bartel, who's doing a lot of parking lot racing, on-road racing up there in the Carolinas. But that's actually something I like to see come back. It's like parking lot racing with a touring car. Be great to see come back.
I know they do that at North Cal Hobbies out in California.
Maybe they have a. But I mean, you cannot. What's the word? Undervalue the impact that touring car and parking lot had on RC racing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on. We're going to go through these races real quick because there's a lot of them. Lonestar by the Dirt was held at Thornhill. There's a lot. I know the owner of Thornhill, Mr. Chris Allison, is having some health issues. His cancers arose again. So there's, we really, positive vibes sent out to him and his family. I know a big part of the entry, Joey said a big part of the entry fee is going to go to a donation to him. So Thornhill, a beautiful facility. Looks like Brandon Rose won, followed by Little Bump and Wiggins. And Ebuggy, it was Wiggins, Garrett Martin, and Tyler Hooks. Condolences to Tyler Hooks as well. His mother just passed away recently. And speaking of Hooks, he quit JC and has moved back to Texas as well.
What? I missed that.
Yeah, so his mom passed away about 3 weeks ago, maybe. And he went over there, and then he's got from what I was told, he's got to go over there and take over some affairs with his mom. And I think he's going to go work in the industry that his father does, which is like home audio and video and all that type of stuff. So, after his mother passed away, he kind of went back to Florida, packed up his stuff, and went to Texas again. That's where he's originally from. So our condolences to him and his loss of his mother. We had the SOS GP, and oh my goodness, that happened this past weekend.
I want to hear you try say it.
A good friend of mine, Frederick, actually sent me some video. I need to find his channel. Okay, I think I got this. Model Bikalubin. Is that how you say it? Model Bikalubin SOS. By Javon Mike Model. Oh, that's not too hard. Model Bikalubin at SOS. Okay, that's hard. That's not gonna come out of my mouth. Say it, Max.
Say it.
It's in Danish, so I don't know what's the pronunciation, but it could be like Bjederskov.
That sounds about right. We'll go with Bjederskov. Denmark.
Yeah, that's actually, you said it probably more Danish than I did because you have that. Yeah.
Borak Killick made the trip up there. We saw him take the win, but Hampus Berg rocking his new FX engine, and he had an imaginary brother too named Oscar. Didn't even know he had a brother. He was there, and he's doing pretty good. I heard Oscar's doing really good. Hampus Berg, I heard that Hampus and Borak had some really close battles. And fast guy from Denmark who's come out of retirement, Komse, he was racing, and he came third. They have another big Danish race coming up, the NXS, I think it is, which is next month. That's the other, NXGP. Borak and Hampus had some good battles, and he says Hampus seems to be getting on terms with his X-ray rides, Max.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of racing, a lot of practice, and
is he on Matrix?
Yeah, that's FX. I don't know. I believe he's on Matrix still, but I could be wrong. But he's definitely not on Hitec anymore. So I'm not saying what he means or what he might mean, or maybe it doesn't mean anything. But when Hampus moved to X-ray,
Yeah, we talked about this in the last podcast. I know kids like, okay, I'm sleepy. We had the WERC series. Oh yeah, okay. We're coming back to America. We're coming back to America. We had the WERC series round number 1. This is my buddy Jason Wowdy has a series up there in the Pacific Northwest, but this is also the impromptu Nationals warm up. It was held at the HRCR Raceway, Brian Idas Raceway up there in Hayden, Idaho. Unfortunately, got rained out, so they didn't finish their mains. But Fenn went, Mayfield went, I believe Heckert went, Lime went, and Fuller went. So top guys went up there. You posted up shared a video of Mayfield flying and punting people out of the way, and that actually got a lot of people talking. And then everyone's like, "Well, Fenn was way faster." Well, Fenn ends up taking the win because he was 0.5 of a second lap faster than Mayfield.
Yeah, he was a lot faster. Like Mayfield, he wasn't doing good. I don't know what, but in the video he looked really fast. I thought, oh shit, like the car looks good, it looks balanced, but maybe it's too calm, too balanced. It's not fast enough because even on best lap he was a bit behind.
We forgot to talk about.
They are working on a new buggy at Techno, and I think they said it's coming out like the end of August.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, but they released the parts already. So they had that whole post, which I think was a nice thing to do. I think it's good for the customers, better than the AE being quiet for half a year, everything out of stock, and then, we have a new car. Nobody knew about it. I think the way Techno did it now, much better. At least your customers know what's going on. And they are releasing all the new parts already. You can buy some of the new parts, but the car isn't out yet. But I think Mayfield has been running that car that's going to be released at the end of the year for a while now.
Beautiful facility.
At least.
I really wanted to go to the Nationals this year, but it ain't going to happen. Mayfield, Fenn, Sontag, and Truggy. I agree. Techno is the best truck, period, out there.
Yeah.
Yes, that should trigger somebody. Many people. And Max says, post-race talking points. Warm-ups are silly. We know how you feel about that. But still, maybe silly, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys will do well. You said these types of tracks have been
Techno's
kryptonite. Do explain, Max, briefly.
Yeah, because it was kind of when Barufalo started driving for Techno, it was a year ago. Wait, no, 2 years ago. He started driving Techno. I remember thinking okay, he's gonna have a tough time, and he did. IBC, really tough time. Montpellier wasn't that great. It was okay, but not that great. But then at the World's warm-up, I remember because I was pitting for Joseph and Ronnefolk. He was really fast. Barufalo was really fast, but he kept making mistakes. Every single lap. He could do 1 or 2 laps as fast as Omar and these guys, but that was it. And that type of speed never materialized. Anytime he would go on a smooth track like this, fast speed, elevation, you needed all the pace in the world you could have, and you still needed to be able to be comfortable with the car. And not even Barufalo could do it for a long time, And since the changes they've made to the Techno, I thought, okay, they must have it now because Mayfield's been good. PMB. Good, fastest guy out there. Nats, he struggled, but he was still on the old car. AMS, he did good with a new car. Rose kind of wept the floor with Mayfield and Fenn at SIC, but then Mayfield went on to win the Ebuggy. I was thinking all through this that, hey, they must have got it. And when I shared that video, I was like, okay, they found it. They know how to solve it. But looking at these results, looking at these lap times, it's again the same. Mayfield can do 1 good lap, maybe 2 good laps, but that like 5-minute pace, especially. But even that like top 5 lap pace, it's really just not there for these guys. I don't know what it is exactly what makes it, but I think the car is just too like slow for them. They have to make it so that everything happens slow, and when you do that, you lose so much speed. Let's see if they can fix it, because I think the nationals are kind of going to tell us how Mayfield's going to do at the Worlds. You know, looking at that video, it's like, okay, this track really close to, you know, Redovan. You have fast pace, jumps, elevation, off camber, so on. But with that type of speed he showed, it's again the same. It's like Thibaut had the same issue. You know, he's always said he felt good at smooth tracks. When there was a race at a smooth track, he struggled, really struggled with the techno. Like LCRC, he was nowhere. Even though that same year he was good at Silver State, good at PNB, good at the DNC, all these races. So it's tough. It's tough because I think they will have to change the car to make it work on tracks like this if they can't solve it. But wait till nationals. If Mayfield's good at nationals, I think he'll do good at Worlds. But if he's doing the same as he did now at the Nats, the Worlds will be really, really tough for them.
Okay.
And that's why I kind of wanted to bring this up.
I said it before in another video that I did a while ago. I don't remember when it was, but I think it's because of the way they have to set up the techno specifically that makes it more difficult to drive for like high grip stuff, like especially with less rear towing. But I'm not as engineerically, I guess, not gifted, but knowledgeable as you. But from what I've been able to see, it seems like just technos in general struggle on higher grip stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly because, you know, you have long arms, you have narrow pivot, you have all that stuff. So none of the things on that car naturally generate corner speed or even drive, to be honest. Like, everything about that car is like, it happens fast, but at the same time, things happen like slow. So roll and all this stuff happens fast, but then you don't have much like camber gain and those things, unless you obviously want to have them, which they most often do because they want to have more responsiveness in the car. And because of that kind of mismatch for high grip, they have to go to like a really calm suspension, and they have to like try to calm the car down. So that, like, for example, Mayfield or Ruffalo, they can do one lap like that quick because low toe-in, low reaction, just send it, absolutely send it. You can do one lap fast like that, but you can't do a whole 60 minutes like we saw with Ruffalo. And I think Mayfield's more likely to succeed with that, but he's probably going to struggle more for the speed than Ruffalo did. And yeah, I think it's just the narrow pivot. That's probably like the big point of like how to solve that on tracks like this. But
all right, Max, we're gonna have to watermelon siege you because we got.
Yeah, I think it's a long like.
We've heard you talk about this quite a month.
Yeah, it would take a long time to properly explain like all the things that happen. But in general, the car is like rolls too fast, but moves too slow.
You said, can Fuller win the Nats? I think he can. I think that big wins right around the corner for him. He had some bad luck at Silver State, and hopefully that's all behind him. It looks like he had a DNF her as well, but I mean, they did a DNF for first qualifier. But I wanted to say something.
They reseeded after first quali. So he was in the slow heat in the second one. And in the third heat, he finished like a second or two behind Fend over 5 minutes.
Hey.
So that's why I put that there, because it looked promising.
Yeah, he can definitely win.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not. I hope it's a battle with multiple people for the win.
Yeah.
But saying that, I was looking at his post, and a few guys posted this. They went to some other track while they were up there, and a lot of grass had grown on it. Man, that track was very nice too. While they were up there, I'm not sure which one it was, but it was very nice. All right, our last race we're going to talk about is the Italian Nationals, which happened this past weekend at Barufalo's track. Man, it was Ongaro once again. Do you have the results? It was Ongaro, Polito, Barufalo, I think, the top 3.
Yeah, that was the top 3. Same top 3 as first race. So
yeah, dude,
kind of.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
So Baruf, Ongaro pulled this. I mean, it was such a good pass. Like Polito went a little bit wide on like this hairpin corner, and Ongaro just went whoop right by him, and like never looked back from there on out. But it was such a great pass.
You have a timestamp? Because I can bring it up.
I'm trying to. It's at the very beginning. It's like 2 laps in, maybe. I'm trying to find it too. I should have had it up here. It's on Monalismo. But Ongaro, man, Ongaro, there's a link here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Hold on. Oh, I missed it. There we go. I apologize. Man, Ongaro just kind of went through there, and that was it, man. But man, look, I tell you, who's really impressed me a lot is this kid, Gabriel Astorino. I met him at RC GP, and he has gotten a lot better. But he has no choice but to get better with all these guys he's racing against there in Italy.
Yeah,
Italy is so stacked right now with RC.
Yeah, it's
Italy's
crazy.
Stacked with motorsports in general.
Yeah.
But it's crazy the level in Italy currently. And to be honest, like the fact that it's still Ongaro, Polito, and Barufalo top 3 all the time.
Yeah,
they are doing good. It'll be interesting to see like what's Polito's pace outside of Italy, because Montpellier he was like always 7th. Then every round he was like 7th. Euros he's always like around 7th. So I don't know. Euros are gonna be Ongaro ring. He's close by. Polito could surprise people at the Euros this year.
I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Are we gonna see Ongaro finally win a European Championship at his own track? He hasn't. They've had 2 Euros there.
Yeah,
so,
third tries. What's third tries the charm?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it could be no problem. I'm just trying to find this pass that Ongaro put on Polito.
Yeah. One thing I want to say before we look at that pass is Berton, since his win at Montpellier, he's like gone. He's not made a podium yet this year at Italian Nats. Hasn't had any like major results. He made the main at DNC. He's been all right, but hasn't beaten Ongaro since then, I don't believe, and hasn't even beaten Polito and Barufalo as far as I know. So yeah, it's a weird situation for Berton.
So Ongaro's is all yellow, more yellowish car. It looks like he's changed his paint again. And,
no, Polito's leading.
Right now. I'm saying Ongaro's behind him. So he makes this pass. It's coming out right now, I think. Or maybe, yeah. Right there. And that was it.
Yeah.
What? And
that's
that
all
was
it takes.
Let's see it again. Yep. See you later. Yeah. And that was it. He just checked out and ran away with it after that. Man, I want to go back to Italy. Racing's so good there. So good there. So good.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And Ongaro is so good too.
I know.
He's incredible. Incredible.
I know. All right. Enough races. We're gonna go on to some questions. Unless you wanted to say something real quick, Roach.
No.
Go ahead, Roach.
No, I was gonna say we can go on to questions unless you had something else.
No, I'm good. I am good. Let's get this off the screen. We do have some questions. We have quite a few. We're not going to answer them all because some people gave us multiple questions within a question. That's cheating. So with that said, that's brought to you by Techno RC and Beach RC. You know me, I'm looking for the ad.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance 8-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
All right. Thank you, Techno RC, for all the support. We put out for questions yesterday. This is the Bench Racing Q&A. And you guys responded and had quite a few questions for us. We're probably not going to get to all of them. But, hey, let's get in because people want to hear what we have to say about certain things. And our first question is from Josiah Jr. Why do people love RC pit stops so much? They seem to be the most viral RC clips outside of a couple of Ryan Lutz's FPV. I think Joe's getting a viral. He raced fifth scale, and he has a pit stop from his fifth scale car from Silver State, and it's getting pretty viral. I would say that's why Nitro is the glory, because pit stops are awesome, right? And it's about seeing and doing fast. Nobody wants to see anybody fumbling and bumbling with quick change battery packs or you e-buggyists. You want to be Nitro racers deep at heart. Yeah, I said that.
I mean, you're not wrong. Did he cut out again?
I think he got out. But yeah, I think most people, if it wasn't for expenses, learning the tune, and having a mechanic, most people would run Nitro.
I think that's also the main thing, is having a mechanic.
Yeah. But
let's talk about why pit stops are so viral.
About the pit stops.
Because it's also because like it's a novelty for people outside of RC. It's like, oh look, these RC guys, they do pit stops too, just like real racing. Like
yeah, and also like if you look at, you know, what are those pages like Sport Bible and Supercar Blondie, they post F1 pit stops all the time. So, but they don't post F1 driving videos because that's like, oh, the car goes broom broom really fast. Like, yeah, cool. But pit stop, that's like, what? Something's happening in the car, you know? It's like perfect length, you know, around 5 to 10 seconds. You know, child's attention span is good enough. And you're set, you know. I don't think it's anything too spectacular. It's just good length. Pit stops are nice because there's usually so many things happening around that, and it's like it's a close-up action, you know. I don't think it's more. Yeah,
we get excited about pit stops, right? We get excited about it, and so I understand why people get excited about it. It's like you said, quick, 10 seconds, boom, boom, you know, done. You can do like a 30-second compilation, whatever of different pit stops, and I think it's great. Like, you know, Max, I got the English is, you know, pronunciation of the English isn't that good for me. All right, next question, because we're trying to get through as many. Justin Moore from Australia. Can someone please explain the difference between dual rate and expo on radio settings, what each is used for and used for, as they are so similar?
Well, number one, they are not very similar. It's actually technically they're the polar opposite, but yeah, basically dual rate controls how much your tires turn. So you tune your EPA, your endpoint adjustments. You turn, this is as much as this car can physically turn. Okay, so you know you want, like, this is where my car max out. Like, you know, something catches something. That's your EPA. Dual rate is 99% of the time you have 100% dual rate because you want the maximum turn. Well, some people, for some reason, I don't know, but there might be a reason sometimes to not have as much steering angle. Like maybe the car naturally has an insane amount of steering angle. You don't really want that much, even in the hairpins. So you reduce dual rate. That's your maximum steering angle. So how far the tires turn. You could do that with EPA, but it's not really, it doesn't make any sense to do with EPA because you'd have to manually always change. Dual rate is much more simple. Expo, however, is the curve of how the steering responds. So if you have a linear expo curve, 0% expo, if you turn the wheel 50%, the car turns 50%. But if you have expo, let's say, well, I can't do the math right now in my head, but let's say you have 10% of expo. When you have 50%, it doesn't actually turn 50%, it turns less than 50%. So the initial part up until 50%, it actually turns the wheels less than you turn your steering wheel. And then at the end, it kind of catches up. So it's a more subtle, movement. Yeah, it's like an exponential growth. But you can, like on a radio, you can see the line. So basically it's just, you have a little bit of more at the end and less at the beginning. So the initial feeling is smoother up until the 50%. That's basically what expo is. And dual rate is just the end point. You're adjusting less maximum angle, whereas for the expo, you're adjusting how your movement on the steering wheel translates to the wheels of the tire.
Okay. So we have a Instagram question. Would you recommend Traxxas as a beginner RC or another buggy or truggy kit? I am new to RC. It depends. Yeah. What are you trying to run?
I have actually worked at a hobby shop and we sold both ARRMAs and Traxxas. And what I told customers when they came, especially if they came in to buy their first car, I always told them, like, buy an ARRMA, like, don't spend too much money. Some people, like, absolutely wanted an X-Max. They wanted an X-Max and they got an X-Max. But a general rule of thumb is you can get the same amount of car from ARRMA for about $100 less than you get from Traxxas. And on top of this, the Traxxas cars, you lose all warranties if you use aftermarket batteries, especially like 6S. You can't run adapters because they'll just burn. So basically for Traxxas, you're going to pay double for batteries because you can't really run aftermarket. So Traxxas is great for those who are not even intending to get into RC. They want a car, they see a car, they buy it. It's a toy for them. ARRMA, on the other hand, you can continue from that. You can build it. Okay, let's put it this way.
Well, you can get the Creighton Truggy. You can get that TLR Tune Typhon. I would say if you're gonna run Traxxas, the best, and like Traxxas Spec Slash, one of the best classes out there. That's different. But if you're gonna go out there and race, like at a racetrack, and you want to,
there are better options.
Yeah, I would say that. And they don't have a Traxxas spec class. I would go for like something like that Typhon, or something like the Creighton,
that Losi 8XE that we just looked at.
Yeah, that Losi 8XE that we just saw. I'm thinking of ready to run stuff. If you're going to race, and you're going to want to do this, then maybe you should go buy a good secondhand.
He's cut out one more time.
Name, like when I say race vehicle, proper official race vehicle. But I don't know if I would go for Traxxas.
I disagree with a bit because I do think the way Horizon's going with their cars, I agree with it would actually be good to buy one of those. But if you even have a little bit of an idea at the back of your head that you might be interested to race, don't buy a Traxxas. Just don't. Like it's
unless they have a spec splash. Unless they have a spec slash class. That's anything I would.
Yeah, but I mean that's not like that's the end goal. Like you can't go up. You can buy an ARRMA Typhon, update the electronics, buy different tires, buy this, buy that. But Traxxas, like it's no point in doing that.
It's proprietary.
Yeah, and
I agree with you there.
Yeah, but if you're into bashing only, and you want that specific car, and you want it to be the exact same way as you bought it, then Traxxas is great. But I think if you have even a little bit of tinkering, or then especially if you have a little bit of racing, then someone like ARRMA is better. There are other brands like Corale, then some like Chinese.
I saw a bunch of Corrales the other day. They look
Corale, HBI is trying to come back.
Yeah, HBI is coming back. Associated has some pretty decent RTRs, but those are, they are made in Taiwan. They're not specifically. They're kind of like China cars, if you can say that.
Yeah, I think ARRMA and what Losi is doing, and people like SWERX with their car is really good. Go for something like that. Yeah. All right. Checkered Pass 503. Thoughts on hobby shop sponsored tracks that are tied to a shop specifically, i.e. Hobby Action, Beachline, versus club run tracks that operate more like a pop-up where they set up and tear it on. How do you encourage equal participation by club members instead of, say, 2%, 5 to 7 key people doing all the work, set up and tear it on, and not 85 to 100% of the members all pitching in? You know what this comes down to? Is that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, I think we could read like what's those like political literature and like social sciences, and still we wouldn't have an answer to this.
A degree in sociology for that.
First of all, it's always going to take a dedicated, passionate group of people to get it going.
Yeah,
and there's probably people you're probably going to give free entrance to, and that's not saying the motive that they're doing it to.
Yeah,
but you want everybody to come in and pitch and do work, but at the same time you want to pay. Some people just don't have time for that. Some people just want to come, throw their card on, pay their money, and race, right?
Yeah, and some people want to help. They have the money to help, but they don't have time. So for those people, it could be that, let's say you need new carpets. They fund like 50% of the carpets because they can afford it, but they don't show up for the,
they don't show up for the race.
Like you can help in many different ways. Someone might do like social media promotion, whatever, if they're good at that. Some people just might be there every single day, helping people who come there, opening the doors, whatever, There's infinite amount of roles that can be done.
If you're there, I get what they're saying, but you see this at all clubs, and also I have a saying: if there's too many cooks and not enough, how does the saying? There's not enough, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Sorry. So when you have a situation like that, you kind of, everybody when you have everybody pitching in. Everybody wants their say. Oh, I want to put a triple here. Or why don't we do this? And then you get nothing done and just arguments. So sometimes it's better just having this few people that come out there and do what they do. They know how to work together. I mean, don't be careful what you ask for, because if everybody gets involved, then you're going to be there for quite a long time. All right. Austin Schaefer. This is more of a statement. I'm just going to read it because he listened to the last podcast, and he says, I don't care what Beaker has to say. He needs to promote Mayako by going to more of these American races. He may not want to. He may dislike the event, but he needs to be there supporting the customers. Whether he likes being there or not, they would appreciate it. That's my argument for him not wanting to go to these bigger races and events in the USA. I agree with him 100%. I agree with him 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, he's doing that already, so I don't really.
Yeah, that could. Hey, I heard the other side of things still, even though I may not be the JQ manager. I heard the other side of things. Dana Tinnell. So Dana always asks 5 questions and 1 question.
Yeah.
So if Dana is exactly like this question, he is nonstop. Like at the track is always tired. He stopped the other day because at North Georgia Shootout he twisted his ankle. He says, I was going to breathe through him. I agree who determines what races can be skilled at national or world championship. And could we do that? No. Okay. So he says, I agree who determines. Okay. He's talking about something else. Who determines what races could be considered for a national or world championship? And could we do that? Well, the federations decide that. For there's like nationals, European championships, and world championships. Let's talk about the NNRC Cup is opening up the door. I want to know if it's going to be the NNRC Cup that proves to be a battleground that would crown a serious national champion or a serious world champion who's on board. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to go that big, but it's just to show how fun a series would be. Here's a question that I want to tackle real quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Is the amount of growth we've seen at the big races, Silver State, PNB, etc., sustainable? Will the growth in attendance make more problems or offer more opportunities for creative solutions? So this is where we have to filter out our age-old argument, Max, that is entries versus human bodies. So while Silver State had 1,200 entries,
why did you have to say human bodies?
Wow,
that seems like you're planning a fucking shooting,
right? So listen, while Silver State had 1,200 entries, Joey also has 6 or more classes than what PNB does, for instance. So they also got, I think it was 30 more people than they did last year overall, right? So I think the more important stat to look at in all of this is not the entry count, because we obviously know that many people run multiple classes.
So driver count under it.
Yeah, we have to look at the number of bodies that are attending these races, right? Is that real growth? I mean, is 30 more people from last year a significant growth? It's 30 more people. I want 3,000 more people, you know, not and overall. I think we can't use entry count as the, and not to say that racing isn't booming. I mean, it is absolutely booming, but I think we need to stop using entry count as the definition of growth. RC, what do you guys think about that?
I'd say pay more attention to the, like I said, pay more attention to the driver count rather than the entry count, because that'll show actual growth.
Agreed.
That's where you'll see the actual,
agreed,
like, population.
And it's also not just about the big races; it's about the local races and the regional races where you see people as well. So, how do we unify a hobby? Motorcycle racing has the AMA, car racing has the organizers. Just run IFMAR. Raw IFMAR rule would be accepted. So I don't know much about motorcycle racing, but is there a different federation over in Europe? That's the American Motorcycle Association.
Yeah,
so
that's a different one. It's FIM.
So RAW is the equivalent of the American Motorcycle Association. Each block of countries has their own federation. IFMAR just happens to be the overall governing body over all of them for the World Championships. So I think that we're not going to see that. Because each country races different. We had that argument about an hour ago.
4 an hour.
Yes.
It's not about
all right,
countries.
Max. Infinity, is it hype or is it going to be competitive?
Mostly hype. I'd rather buy almost any of the other cars. The front end is cool, but it's nothing special.
Don't forget about those aluminum wing buttons, though.
Oh yeah,
the pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, like
it's just the thing is it's just another car. It's not even like with Sparko with like the, like, for example, the first thing that people think of when they think of the Sparko is, hey, it has a little slot where I can put my transponder. It doesn't even have that.
Stop. Okay, that cannot be said on this podcast anymore. No one can ever on this podcast mention that the Sparko has a transponder compartment. Okay,
transponder compartment.
And if should I just like 3D print like 500 transponder compartments and send them to every single Mayako driver?
Yes.
Free of cost?
Yes. Yes, you should.
Like, at this point, I'm thinking
because it's a cool little thing that makes people happy.
Oh my god. Okay, but to the actual point, Sparko, it has a place. It's a C-Hub S-Works. That's what they're calling it on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity, it's between a Mugen and an associated. Well, it's between like a Mugen and an S-Works and an HB. It's like a mix of all three with a nice, like a little bit quirky front end. That's the car basically. And the front end, geometric wise, it's the same. It's like a basic pillowball. It's just different way around. they didn't do it in a way where it's actually cool, it's adjustable, it offers something. It doesn't really. All of the solutions in the car are quite normal, but there's also some really stupid solutions, like the rear arm holders. They're screwed from the bottom of the chassis. If the chassis wears down even a bit, the screws are going to wear the first, that's dumb. There's nothing really new or innovative about the car, which is like, yeah, I mean, it's the first car. I understand that you don't want to do too much, but it's really like, I don't know. I was really disappointed when I saw it, because they have all the tools.
They have
to make something cool. They have the money, the people, the possibility to get new people, everything they would ever need to make something really, really cool. And they made something I'd even call subpar, because it's clearly not even on track, like majorly better than anything else, looking at results of Berton and these guys.
For me, from the perspective of like just someone on the ground, it's just another car at the end, another pillowball car, like WRC, or I don't know, like it's just another car. That why would I buy another pillowball car when I can buy any of the other pillowball cars that are more proven and tested? Do you remember that episode of Top Gear where Jeremy Clarkson was reviewing like a Noble? And he's like, no, I don't want a Ferrari. I don't want a Lamborghini. I don't want a Porsche. I don't want an Aston Martin. I don't want anything with any heritage whatsoever. I just want something that's not been proven or tested. I want something that's come from literally nothing. That's what Infinity is to me.
Yeah, I do agree. And I do think it has more soul than... Actually, WRC is not WRC anymore. It's
WRC.
It's work. Okay? Let's work. Can we all say that? Work.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay. And yeah, but I do think it has more soul, because the work is pretty much just Mugen copy from Italy, from a guy who kind of was like, oh, I kind of like cars, and these are small cars. Let me make some, And yeah, I don't know. I'm really disappointed, because they could have been like, they could have done all the things that Mugen and Associated and S-Works have not done and have missed and are kind of lacking. But instead, they took the good things from those cars and then added some things that are not great. Yeah.
You are muted.
You're not impressed. Let's move on. Let's get through these questions. We have a few more. Chris Trudeau. Having done both, does 10 scale on-road versus off-road require more focus for the 5 to 6 minute races than a driver can maintain that a driver can maintain versus a larger 8 scale event? He says 10-minute events, but most top 8 scale events are 30 minutes, like 8 finals are 30 minutes to an hour. So I basically, what requires more focus, that 5 to 6 minutes of 10 scale finals, or that longer nitro main? I think they both require different types of focus.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So in 10 scale, you have to focus for that 5 minutes.
And you have to be perfect.
And you have to be perfect. But you also have 3 chances if you're doing AAA mains.
Yeah.
In 8 scale, you have to maintain your. I don't know. Have you ever? I remember I raced a 45-minute final and I came off. I was stiff as like you don't relax until you finish, right? And you have to kind of focus that entire 30 to 45 minutes, right? It's a different type of focus. It's a more. It's like comparing sprinters to marathon racers. There's a good comparison. You know,
the first time I did my when I still had a nitro buggy, I'm like, wait, I'm still up here driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to have the fortitude, because you can come back in a 45-minute final.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I think the long mains are really, because you have time to think, so you have to have like a really logical head you know, for so I think it's more draining, much more draining, but then it's probably harder to focus for the 5 minutes of the level of focus you need for the 5 minutes of 10 scale. It takes more, but it's like it's an endurance versus a sprint.
Oh, by the way, remind me, I have a very funny story from the Nationals to talk about in our last topic of the day, last segment of the day. All right, speaking of more cars, scales prevail. Thoughts on the new Hongnor 1/8 scale buggy distributed by Pro One RC? Well, I don't think it's very new. I think it's just been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And somebody else's. So I know the guy who's importing it is Carlos Sigis, a friend of mine here in Florida. I don't know, man. I feel like 1996 called and asked for their rear pivot back.
It's
that's how wide that
car.
Dude, that I mean, it's not new. It's been around for quite some time. It's just it's another car. It's another car in an already flooded market of chassis, along with a flooded market of tires.
It's kind of like the annoying thing about
flooded market of aluminum wing buttons.
There we go.
The annoying thing about these, you know, Chinese and Taiwanese brands, I think Hongnor is Taiwanese if I'm not wrong, but the annoying thing about these is they kind of use, in geometry, they use the designs that were proven not good 10 years ago. You know,
like I said,
it's like when Losi came out, like the Losi front end was like that thing, you know, everyone wanted to be like that. But then we quickly realized that actually it's not that great. They just had a bunch of great guys, and the car was working really well in the US because Drake was, you know, really fast. Truehill was fast. They had all these guys. But in reality, it's like wide rear pivot.
Dude, it's
that front end.
freaking
It's not good.
wide.
It's
about 2 times as wide as normal pivots now, I'd say.
Yeah, it's the old Mugen pivot.
I mean, it's also, I don't know, man. I am not excited about it. It's been around. The IGT8 is the Hongnor. They've tried.
It's like saying look at this new hull bow. It's just an off now, or an off now is a hull bow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was distributed by. So the Hongnor is never going to be what it was when it was the Jetman, which was 2004 to 2008, pretty much. 2005 to 2008. And I wish Carlos the best, but I can't get excited about a chassis. It's not new. That's what I just want to say. It looks new, maybe new to some people, but it's not new. Real quick, Glenn Wilson, do you think we should have a global rule set with things like motor and battery approvals managed by a central body like IFMAR rather than having each block having slightly different rules? I think this only pertains to EFRA and ROAR, none of the other blocks. But we're also talking about 2 different forms of racing where stock racing, I assume this is for stock, because nitro rules are pretty universal to an extent.
Yeah, batteries and I think might be pipes are right to independently. So, but it is a bit silly. But to be honest, if you think about it, most manufacturers have their headquarters in Europe or in America. So if you had the like who does the stamps, like this is good, the checks that they're good.
2 different types of racing too.
No, but like if you had the office in Europe, all the Americans would have to send the stuff to Europe to be checked. If you had the office in America, all the manufacturers in Europe would have to send it over there. It's probably just actually cheaper to have 2 separate ones.
Also, stock racing in America is different from stock racing in Europe. Stuff like that. So
for motors, you have to have different ones. But for batteries, it could be the same, but probably cheaper doing like this.
All right. Benjamin James, with major races in the U.S. drawing more Euros, what will it take to create an official world ranking point system to incentivize pro racers branching out? Like more top Americans coming to Europe Secondarily, what about including the world ranking, the scoring overlays? Do we want to have a ranking or do we want to have a series? Because there's two different things. Top 25 is a ranking system that ranks people.
I think series. If you want to make people come, it has to be a series. But if you have
money involved,
there has to be money involved.
It has to be
more than just contingency money.
Yeah,
I think one way to do it would be that there would be kind of a media company who would go to all of these races. So, for example, now at PNB, nobody's doing like written media. Nobody's doing pictures. I mean, obviously, Elite is doing some stuff now, but like these big races, like for example, Silver State, like where the fuck was anything? You could barely find results at Live RC. So it would take someone to.
The results are right there.
No, but I mean, no. I mean,
I know what you mean, like written reports and stuff.
Yeah,
there was nothing.
Yeah. So,
you can say that about the recent Raw Nationals. Didn't have any of that either. No podium pictures. No write-ups. No nothing. No pictures from the Raw race. J Concepts has pictures.
Yeah, but that's J Concepts, and that's only from their drivers. So basically, it would have to be that a media company would commit to going to all of these races, doing all of these races, and collect sponsorships, which is already difficult to do. And then from these sponsorships, do a series alongside this, and from these sponsorships or the money they make, they would pay for the winner of the series. But the money doesn't exist, so it's not going to happen.
There has to be
it can happen, but it would need people with a good incentive to back this for it to happen.
Yeah. As much as I want to see USA guys go over to Europe and race, that's also another fight I'm saving for another day. So
we don't have time for another hour.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like, hey, whatever it is, what it is. I'm happy that they're going over to Spain, and we ain't getting no.
Well,
I'm happy that I'm happy we ain't getting no. Oh, it's the guys seem to be happy that they're going to Spain. As for a world ranking system, I'd rather see it based off a series. And I know RC GP tried to do that. I don't think the industry, people say they want it, but I don't think the industry's ready for it yet. All right. Next question is, and then we're going to try and wrap this up. Okay. Here's a good question. Oh, hold on. This one you would like, Max. This is from our YouTube chat. JQ and others often talk about professionalism in RC racing. Then why does the RC vehicle engineering appears to be mostly happy engineering and prototyping of different versions? I can't tell a single brand that shares, e.g., suspension simulations to give a better understanding of camber, toe, caster, and so on over wheel travel, especially with all the geometric setup options. I really miss some of the more objective and fact-numbered based information on my cars. Just to put it into perspective, I am an automotive engineer in serial development of OEMs for multiple years now, with quite a bit of responsibility. Without facts or evidence-based engineering, we are not releasing parts. When I see, or rather not, what RC brands do, my experience, it's what RC brands do. My experience in Formula Student was more professional. Hold on, can I just say something, and then you can go on after this. He's doing OEM parts that people's lives depend on it. We're doing OEM parts that somebody's bowling trophy depends on it. All right, go ahead. As an engineer-based guy, what do you think about that?
I think there's a very simple answer to that, and that's basically that
money.
Yeah, let's say.
Let me just get my wind tunnel real quick. Just get my my shock press.
50 to 75% of the people who work in RC and specifically like the engineering part of RC, 50 to 75% of them are people who are probably never really studied vehicle dynamics in that much depth. You know, they understand stuff. They kind of know something, but they don't do calculations like that. They don't do that type of stuff, you know. Then 100% of the guys are being paid like really small amount. So if there was, let's say, from those remaining 25 to 50%, most of these guys probably don't like. Okay, so let me break this down. There's 50 to 75% have an engineering degree, but have never really actually studied any vehicle dynamics. So they just kind of do some CAD work, make it look nice, make it fit nice. That's it, you know. And then the other half is people like Joseph, people like Kanai, people that have RC as a hobby, but also know how to, you know, engineer, design, stuff like that.
And understand.
They might have a degree even, like most of these guys do have. And then like some of these guys probably don't, like, they might not even have a degree, but they just learned through practice that how to do things, and then they can do different roles. Like, I don't know if Trish is an engineer, but at Schumacher, but like I don't think he's an engineer, but he does most of like the thing. He might be an engineer. I don't know why I think he's not, but
I think he is, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he mentioned in one of his old videos.
Yeah, it could be that he is, but you know, there's those type of people who are more like hands-on, and then there's people like who work at Horizon or like Associated, who are more of like they went to engineering school, dabbled with RC, but they don't really have any idea with vehicle dynamics. And that's basically 100% of the people. And then the very narrow part of people who actually know about vehicle dynamics, it's like ghetto dynamics, you know. It's not like you buy a software that you can do all these calculations with, or code something even, or like actually spend time on doing this. You just like do some rough calculations, look at it like, it's about there, do it, and that's it. Because, you know, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not really worth it. And also, like,
the money's just not there, man.
Money is not there. And also for these guys, like, who actually like it, like Joseph and Kanai, I'd say it's more of like a hobby, you know, like it's a job, yeah, sure, but it's more
there's more personal fulfillment to it for them.
Yeah, they rather draw some nice parts on CAD and go try it out track blind than do FEA analysis for tens of hours and try to understand strength of parts and then do some like simulation,
which all costs time, which all costs money, right? For a very small industry. I understand what he's saying in that question, but he has to understand he's comparing making OEM parts for vehicles that are going to sell millions of units.
You're comparing the earnings of like me making like $200 a month on YouTube ad review compared to Mr. Beast making that much money on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, and on top like of this, if you think of a car, just raw materials and manufacturing costs for a car, tens of thousands of dollars, you know. For an RC car, a rapid prototype of RC car, you can get under 1,000 probably. You know, just one car, you can probably get under 1,000. So if you compare to like cloud space of simulations or anything like that, or even the software for simulation could be thousands a year, probably could spend like 10 grand a year for all the softwares that wouldn't be needed. Making an X amount of prototypes is cheaper than to actually simulate it for, because it's just such a low amount.
It's also a lot easier to test if it works because you could just go down to the track and you're not risking anyone's life.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But also like, because for full scale it makes sense to do simulations because it's cheaper. It's actually cheaper, and you get probably better results with short amount of time frame. But for RC, like, you can have a desktop CNC and you can have a 3D printer, and you can test the part that you designed last night the next day, and like nobody gives a damn.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what he's saying. Don't get me wrong, but
I do think there are people like that who at least want to try and do that. But also, even though RC car is small, like, you have thousands of people working on an F1 car and probably tens of people just calculating stuff on how the car handles on the track on top of like the whole simulation team. RC cars are not obviously not as intricate machines, but they have all the same principles to make it work. They have all the same unknowns. So like the workload to actually get reliable data, it's so much that one person who does most of the designing at a company can't do it. And most people design more than one platform. Like I think Associated, they have 2 or 3 engineers and they design everything.
Right. Not just specific parts of a car. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple more questions. Gary Rice, looking for good off-road tracks in Ohio. Kid, know of any good tracks in Ohio? If anybody in our that's listening to this, if you know of any tracks in Ohio, please put them in the comments on YouTube for Gary Rice.
I believe someone put one in the Discord server. Let me see if I can grab it real quick.
While Kid looks that up, he also wants to know how to make an Ebuggy feel more like a nitro on the track. Are we at is ESCs at that point where we can simulate clutches on these cars?
No, it's really hard.
You can try. You can put a clutch on it. You can run like for example, if you're running like a Mugen, you can run the Shorty Forest battery that simulates sort of like a full tank of fuel in the front. But there's not much else you can really do to make it feel like a nitro car because it's just so much heavier.
Yeah, I think you should just, if you want it to feel like a nitro car, run a nitro. But I get what it's saying.
Yeah, I mean, my Ebuggy is the same weight as my nitro, but it's really difficult because
what needs to be done real quick, Max, to make it feel. What has to be done in the manufacturing world to make it feel like that?
Well, it's probably mostly down to the like motor versus engine. You know, the way the power is delivered is so different. Like it's not linear, it's exponential for like nitro engine. So it starts really low and then it gets up, but it's also not linear. So the middle part you might have more or less than the end. It goes like the curve is not even like it's not even like exponential or linear. It's more of like a random curve on a nitro engine. Whereas for electric, it's kind of always somewhat the same. Also, the slippage of the clutch does some things. I can't explain, don't know how it works, but there is some form of like compliance in the clutch that even on full drive, full power, even if you had the same, like everything would be the same, like you could make the curve even the same on Ebuggy. There's something about the clutch and combined with the heat and the flywheel and everything that it's just like, it's hard to do. And the nitro engine is much more sensitive. Like if you tap the throttle on an Ebuggy, the power output is not precise enough where you can make it feel as precise as a nitro engine. Because, you know, electric is a digital device or digital motor. Nitro, it's an analog. So instead of having zeros and ones, you have, you know, a full-on range. And obviously with an electric one, you have poles, you know, so that already fucks it up a lot. So I think it's just like with an electric motor, you will never get the same sort of smoothness as you get with an IC engine.
Got you. All right. Did you find that track, Cade?
I found two. Well,
Okay.
one's in Indiana, and it's Finish Line Raceway in Hudson, Indiana, and there's also another track called Medina RC Raceway in Medina, Ohio.
Okay. Yeah. If anybody else has any suggestions, just write them in the comments for Gary. Two quick questions, and then we're going to go. Dead Hooligan 306. Will vintage radio control racing become a regular class at big 10 scale events? An added class to any weekend club racing program? I don't think it would be at any big 10 scale events, definitely at a club racing program. I know there have been people that put on vintage races only. I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I could see it happening more at regional levels and state levels, but not necessarily at like a full like Roaring Nationals or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. A lot of people, it's like having Tamiya Frogs, Kyosho Tomahawks. A lot of these cars are getting remade, as we talked about the RC10T. So maybe we will see something like that happening in the future. Who knows? KLD Matthews, has anyone ever tried RC in schools? Much like here in the US, we have archery in the school programs. I just can easily see a program like that with RC, which will greatly boost the community and birth so many talented minds. Imagine school-on-school races ending in tournaments and championships, invisible speed educational course or something likewise, followed by after-school track time like base. I mean, that's a great idea. I think the only people that have successfully gotten RC into schools is the Horizon Group with the hydrogen-powered vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
In their STEM programs. But
I want to know why they were able to do it?
Because they have the money from the hydrogen industry.
Exactly.
That's why. The RC is just the vehicle. The hydrogen is the money. Because they're using the hydrogen research to build their research and prove things. But there you go. Once again, it comes down to money. But RC, I had one of my buddies, Irvin Romain in Bermuda. He's a teacher of avid RC. He used to have like an RC club, stuff like that. It's hard, right? It all comes down to money, man. So it'd be great though. It'd be great to get RC in school. It's a great way to learn mechanics, physics, all that stuff. I mean, when I was a judge at this GP, the kids from the one, like the big school, dude, they were like little scientists, man. They had the laptops out. They had been in wind tunnels, all that. All the stuff that guy was talking about, they were doing it, but they had the means to do it because it was like a very private school with a lot of money and a lot of funds to put back into it. So that's what it takes. All right. Any thoughts on that, Max? Cade, before we go?
Not really. I think I already said my piece.
All right. So I do have a funny story about this, about what happened at the National Cage. You might have heard it as well. But before we go on any further, I'd like to say thank you to BenchRacing for all their continued support.
BenchRC.com, the racer's one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BenchRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BenchRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, S-Works, Pro Circuit Racing tires, Nitro Lux fuels, and Assault RC performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BenchRC.com today.
Thank you to BenchRC for all your continued support. We have an affiliate link for BenchRC in the written link of this podcast. So my funny story of what I heard from the Nationals, it's kind of funny. I don't think I'm going to say names because I think the two guys will be a little bit embarrassed about what happened. Let's just say there were two younger TLR drivers who were having some fun, and they were throwing people that were at the Nationals would know. I don't know if you heard the story, kid. And Max, I think you'll like this story.
Was they throwing rocks again?
They were throwing goldfish, like Pepperidge Farm goldfish at people. So they were throwing it at this one guy who's a very quiet guy. He works in full-scale racing, I might add. I'm not going to say his name. Very nice guy. Big guy, like solid guy, but very quiet, good racer. He happens to run unassociated, I think he does. So they were throwing them at everybody, right? And they were, they're playing. They're kids, I might add. They're kids. Well, one of them is a little older than the other. they think it's cute. Like they're throwing goldfish at this guy. So like after some time of this guy just got tired of it. He got up quietly, went over to their pits, and I think this is the ultimate revenge. Grabbed both of their toolboxes and dumped out all their tools on the ground and said, "Who's playing now?" And then calmly walked over. He said something to him like that, and then calmly walked back over to his pits and continued wrenching on his car. You haven't heard this story, kid?
I have, and I know who you're talking about, but I'm not going to say it either. But I think it's pretty funny.
When I heard that, I could not stop laughing. And they said the two guys that it happened to, they didn't throw no more goldfish at people for the rest of the time they were there.
At
the race.
The only way to make that better would be to do it to a screw box.
Ooh. Oh, that would have been cruel. That would have been cruel and unusual punishment.
Even better. The best thing to do, if you have a situation like this is a tip. Take your friend's screw box and empty it in their toolbox, okay? So you have all the screws in the toolbox and you have the tools there. And it's all mixed, fucked up. I think
that would only make you upset. But the screw box, that's cruel and unusual punishment.
Oh, man. Dude.
The screw box is the worst. I accidentally, I didn't do this on purpose, but he had like a Plano box that was a little bit older and janky, and I was looking for something because we was traveling together. We had some parts that only he had, so I was looking for something there. And I don't know if I left it open or if I actually fucked it up myself.
I think I was there,
but like all the screws, like the top lid of the Plano was open, and I pulled it up, so all the screws went into the top lid.
Oh no!
Hey, lesson of the day: don't throw goldfish at people. Somebody might take that offensive. But I thought that was epic revenge. Those who at the Nationals, you know who you're talking about. Those who it happened to, you know who you're talking about. It was funny. I thought it ended on a funny note at the end. Cade, Max, thank you for your time. I am still part of the resistance, Max. I am an integral part of the resistance.
He's their inside man.
I know you're on our side.
I'm on everybody's side. But, we got to make things happen. And sometimes we just got to do things a little different. And before I go, I have one more picture to share. And you know what? Man, the last Mohican has left the room. He is no longer all about that life. And this past weekend, he really showed his true colors about how much he loves Bruggy.
Oh, I know you're
we have
there
pictorial evidence. All right. Pictorial evidence. Look, I'm going to even zoom in on that.
There it is.
There is the self-proclaimed Trugonaire himself, Charlie Mack, with a Bruggy buddy on his TLR car at Lonestar. Charlie Mack. The last Mohican has fallen. You are now a Bruggyist through and through. You know what he says? It was shit. I'm never going to use it again in life. And I'm just like,
Too late. It's too late.
I want to hear all about this on your podcast this week, Charlie Mack. We show you the Brugonaire. You are a Bruggiest special.
Once you go Bruggy, you would never go back.
I didn't want to say it, but
oh my gosh, so that's just joking. That's our good friend Charlie Mack, and he loves Truggy. Thank you guys for your time. Max, whatever you do this weekend, have fun. Kate, whatever you do this weekend, hopefully I'll see you next weekend at Beachline. We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. It was a little long. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. I'll probably have a podcast next week as well. I do have an interview with Powell that I need to edit up and get out. And then I go home, and then we're probably going to get back to interviewing people and all that stuff and all that good stuff. We want to thank everybody for their support around the world. Shout out to the No Name RC podcast crew, the NNRC squad. Shout out to all of our patrons and YouTube members. Don't forget to go over and hit the like, sub notification button on Cade's channel. If you ain't checked out none of his content. It's really good. Check him out. Hit that like, sub, and notification button for him. Max,
we just hit 7,000.
Did you, man?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations.
How much does the NRC have?
5,145.
Oh no.
Yes.
Leave something for the rest of us, Cade.
Cade has much different content from us. Short form, very good.
Short form video essays.
We was doing a short podcast and it's 3 hours and 22 minutes already. So come on.
We have long form ramblings.
Ramblings. We want to thank everybody for their support. Remember, everybody, we do have sponsors. If you want to help us out, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. We have links for all of these in the written description of the podcast. You can save some money, we get some money, or whatnot. Help us out. They are Invisible Speed, Hitec RC, Corsa USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Stacked RC, Racecraft USA, RC Box Club, Carl RC, Elite RC Productions, Florida RC Championships, RC Body Armor, SJ Racing Builds, House of RC, RC GP. Shout out to our drivers, David Ranafog, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, Pekko Ivanen, Yuna Hattinen, Mason Fuller. We wish everybody good luck at the European warm-ups. Hopefully we get to see some good racing and some different results. With that said, Max, middleman Max, and bumped up and up one more level. Cade, aka Roach RC. Look at him giving that little grin. We want to thank you guys for your time. Thank everybody. Say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, Max, and don't zoom out of her right after this because I need to download the recordings of this. So just leave this gun. I know you want to go as soon as you can go because your girlfriend's giving you the evil eye. So just leave this running, and we are out. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.